I'm Eric Reeser. It's a massive week in college hoops. The UCLA women's squad won their first NCAA title yesterday. The Bruins dominated South Carolina 71-59 in the national championship. Second women's national title for UCLA in program history. The champion will be decided tonight on the men's side. UConn battles Michigan at 8:50. Wolverines forward Yaxel Lendenborg is expected to play despite dealing with injuries to his ankle and knee. After a champion's crown Monday, the transfer portal opens Tuesday. For Buckeyes, Devin Royal, Colin White, Gabe Cupps, and Tayson Chapman have announced plans to enter the portal. The NCAA will also reportedly expand the tournament for both the men and the women to 76 teams sometime this week. In college football, Ohio State's back to spring practice this morning. Annual spring game 1 week from Saturday. Ryan Day is going to speak with the media around 11. We'll carry those comments live on The Fan. This update is sponsored by Eco Plumbers. Get $500 in free repairs when you buy a new water heater. Visit geteco.com and book today.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Monday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Scoonie Penn, 1212, going to join us in 27 minutes from now. We will blitz the weekend an hour early. That will hit you at 10 o'clock because we will be taking the Ryan Day press conference live around 11 as we are inching closer and closer to the spring game. Of course, Austin Ward going to join us at 10:30 as is customary. We had a debut on Friday. Bake kind of had the ultimate Columbus sports weekend as he took in, now we didn't get wins, so I guess it wasn't the ultimate Columbus sports weekend, but you were there in person. So we will get into all of that as it goes along. We got to deal with this. Michigan is a 6.5-point favorite in the national championship game tonight against UConn. Coach Hurley, our lonely eyes turn its attention to you. It's up to you to save us from this thing. And I don't know if he's a guy people like root for or not. I like him. I like the way he goes about his business. He's going for his third national title in 4 years. He's lost one tournament game in the last 4 years. It was by 2 to the eventual national champion. If he loses a second, it'll be the 2 losses in 4 years to the 2 teams that hung banners. How did Michigan get here? How did they get to the point where they're this basketball juggernaut in year 2 with Dusty May? I think you got to go back. And one of the things that's been omnipresent on this run for theirs has been the Fab Five. And they've been omnipresent. But, of course, the Fab Five did not win a national championship at Michigan. They did not. They played for 2, and they got to Elite Eight after Chris Webber left his sophomore year when Jalen Rose was there. So they got to an Elite Eight in that third year when they were the Fab Four at that point. But the Fab Five played for 2 titles, didn't win one. They won it in '89 with Glenn Rice and Ramil Robinson and Terry Mills and that team in 1989. They won it. That was the year that Bill Frieder was the coach, and he accepted the job at Arizona State. And Bo Schembechler, who was the athletic director at Michigan, said, "We're going to have a Michigan man coaching Michigan," and he sent him packing. And then Steve Fisher won the national title. And then he had a run where he played for 2 more. And then it started to fizzle out. And then Michigan basketball kind of went to jail. They were to jail for a decade. Brian Ellerby from 1997 through the 01 season, and then Tommy Amaker from 01 to 07. During that 10-year period, Michigan made 1 NCAA tournament in a decade. 1. And then they hired John Beilein. And it took him a minute, but he stabilized it. And he played for 2 more national titles. Then Juwan Howard for 5 years, and that was hit or miss, mostly miss. They pivoted off of him, and next thing you know, they hired Dusty May, and here they sit playing for a national championship this year. There's a lesson in all this, I think, for schools like Michigan in basketball, and I would put Ohio State in the category of Michigan in terms of aspirationally what you want your basketball program to be. And I think the lesson is when you are at a place like Ohio State or you're at a place like Michigan, when you have elite coaching, this isn't reinventing the wheel, by the way. This isn't like you got to be kidding me. Have elite coaching. Yeah, have elite coaching, have elite talent acquisition, and in this day and age, have a coach who can identify players and get them to fit into a system in hyperspeed. That's the job. That's what Dusty May has done at Michigan. And when you watched what they did Saturday to Arizona, I watched stupefied. Because I really thought I had Arizona win the national title. I think a lot of people out there did. I thought Arizona, I've seen him play, again, with the Kansas thing with Beamsy. I've seen him play a bunch this year. To me, they look like the best overall team in the country. And you're to tell me that the Big Ten Player of the Year is going to get hurt in the first half and get into foul trouble right away and play very limited minutes, and they were going to really never be challenged by Arizona. I would have said you were nuts. But that's what happened. This is a machine. And from a big picture perspective for us having to deal with them, the question here is if you're Michigan, now that there's blood in the water in basketball, is this how you're going to be going forward? Is this more than just a one-year thing, or is this now a stretch of play? And Dusty May has said he's not going anywhere. He's not going to Carolina. He's not going anywhere. Are you going to have the financial incentivized alumni that's willing to fund this to make sure that you stay at the highest level while also doing it in football as well? This will be something to watch. I don't particularly like this. I don't like having to root for UConn. I don't love the idea of them winning 3 and 4 years, but that's where we are on a Monday night, boys.
Yeah, I would say the most it was a weekend kind of filled with shocking things.
Yeah.
Michigan dominating Arizona the way they did was the most shocking.
I agree.
Because I think we had said Friday that the winner of that national semifinal was the national champion. Nothing against Illinois or UConn, but you kind of saw the Huskies, and that's a really good-looking team. But, yeah, some places have Michigan as a 7.5-point favorite. So you're like, by more than a touchdown. That's what you're getting tonight in Indianapolis. I don't think that Michigan's going to necessarily up any of their spending relative to, are you taking anything away from football? Because I feel like, and I think Ohio State can do the same thing. You spend most on football, but you still field a competitive basketball team as long as the guys in charge are making the right decisions. And through 2 seasons, Dusty May's not missed on anything.
No.
He even got a transfer from Ohio State. It's playing really well.
Yeah.
In big moments when they didn't have Lindenborg, you could rely on a lot of those Wolverines. Roddy Gale was one of them. And the fact that Yaxel comes out and I think he drains 2 threes. Yeah. And he's got a bad ankle and a bad knee. Like most of us would be just sitting on the couch. Like, no, I can't move. Mm-hmm. Like this is a special run that they're on, but I don't necessarily know if it's a transformative thing. Michigan will always be competitive in basketball. But I think with Kyle Whittingham being a proper decision maker, the allocation of resources from an athletic department will still skew football.
Oh, it's going to. They're not. Here's the thing. That they aren't always relevant and bad. They were a decade off the cliff where they didn't exist. 1 tournament in 10 years in Michigan in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. It's the coach. If you have a great coach at Ohio State or Michigan, one who can identify talent, and it seems like probably from a budgetary standpoint, they're probably pretty close in terms of how they're allocating the funds, to your point, Reese. Dusty May just didn't miss.
I think it's interesting, too, like you bring up Roddy Gale. Roddy Gale here at Ohio State needed to be a top 3 player. Mm-hmm. He's number 7 at Michigan.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a difference there with how their roster is built. Now, is that money? Is that identifying talent? I don't know what it is. We live in a world, I feel like, a lot of times where we try to dismiss coaching and say that coaching doesn't matter. It's all about the players. It's the Jimmies and Joes. It's not the X's and O's and all of that. I don't think there's any doubt the 2 best coaches in college basketball are playing tonight for a national championship. Now, these might be the 2 best teams, but they're the best teams because of their coaches. Whether it is their coaches identified the guys that they want that would fit in their system, whether they're the best guys. I don't know what it is, but I don't think you can argue that Danny Hurley's the best coach in college basketball, and if you have an argument, it's probably Dusty May. Now, there are some other really good coaches out there. I think Kelvin Sampson's a really good coach. Tommy Lloyd is a really good coach. TJ Otzelberger, I think, is pretty good out at Iowa State. Tom Izzo can still get it done. But these guys are the 2 best.
Dusty's trying to join that club. He gets a win tonight. and he gets a national title, then you join that club. And we're going to watch it. I mean, some of you probably won't, but all of you will be wearing your UConn gear, I am certain. And UConn isn't exactly something that's easy to root for. We'll get into some of the other things over the weekend as well. But that's where we're at. And Michigan is a big favorite tonight, and they'll play for a national championship. And should they do it, it'll be the first one since 1989. It's funny, like just inundated with Fab Five stuff. And I'm going, well, where's Glenn Rice in all this? Is he around? Where's he at? Like he actually hung the banner. Like they won it. Ramil Robinson hit a couple of free throws against Seton Hall. Like they actually won it, but hit over the head with Fab Five. And these guys can join that company if they win it tonight and win a national championship. Be the first Big Ten national championship since Michigan State with the Flintstones, with Mateen Cleaves and those guys. So it's been a minute since that's happened. We'll get some perspective on the national championship game coming up from Scoonie Penn coming up in 18 minutes from now. Coming up next, a very busy weekend across the sports landscape. In addition to that, 2 more additions to the portal for the Buckeye basketball team and a national champion crowned on the women's side of things. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Off and running on a Monday. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
I'm Meredith Garfalo, meteorologist at 10 TV News this morning, and I'm an Ohio girl. I love golf, aerospace, and all things Ohio sports. For nearly 20 years, I've studied the patterns that shape our days, from winter wonders on the south side to dangerous storms along the I-71 corridor. When the weather changes, you'll be the first to know, because you need a forecast that moves as fast as you do. Make the move to 10 TV News this morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications that top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Dream big and save big on your next backyard project at Menards. Whether you're shopping for edgers, pavers, or wall blocks, Menards has the largest in-stock selection of concrete landscape block ready to take home today. Build a beautiful border for your landscape with our Crescent Edgers on sale now through April 12th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you'd want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ, because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plan for a pretty quiet rest of your day, although it is going to be breezy at times. Northwest winds of 10 to 20 gusts higher. Partly cloudy skies overall, in the mid-50s for a high this afternoon. Mostly clear skies tonight with a widespread freeze. Temperatures fall down to the lower 30s. On Tuesday, it'll be a cool one, even with lots of sunshine. Highs only reach the upper 40s. The wind is going to be quite a bit lighter. For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
T-Bone and Tyvus are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I mean, did you hear that? Freezing? It was in the 80s Saturday. I got a sunburn watching lacrosse all day. Now freezing. No one's going to get sick here. No, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all.
I was Saturday. I went over to my buddy's dad's house when we had the storms a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Part of his fence got blown over.
Okay.
So my dad and I went over and we sat it back up and redid it all in and everything. And I was sweating and I didn't like it.
Right.
It was making me angry.
You're back. Well, it was hot. It was quite hot. Quite hot. Bake, you did kind of the ultimate Columbus sports weekend this weekend. So you went to Aviators on Friday. I did watch some of it when I got back from the anniversary dinner on Friday night. What did you think?
So I thought it was pretty good. The football on the field is tough, right? It's not the best football that we're used to. We're used to watching NFL, and we're used to watching high-level football here with Ohio State, and it's just not quite the same. Mm-hmm. But Columbus was great. The atmosphere was great. Over 15,000 in historic Crew Stadium. And they did a great job with their seating as far as let's get everybody down. Let's get everybody on the camera side. So the camera side was completely full. The other side was full, except for the upper deck. There were some empty seats up there, but I thought it was great. They have a dog mascot named Maverick, who is dressed up in like a Top Gun suit that is pretty cool. The one complaint that I would have been the length of the game.
Because of the TV time.
And I don't know.
Oh, Fox.
I don't know why this was. I know there was a couple scoring plays and a couple turnovers and some timeouts, but there was 3:38 left to play in the first half. It was 8:55. They went to halftime at 9:35. It took 40 minutes for 3 minutes and 38 seconds of gameplay. And then you have the halftime concert of Gavin DeGraw. So halftime's a little longer. You got the performance. You had a long stretch of time there where there wasn't a lot of football.
That's the balance, right? That they're trying to do, because you want the in-person to be so great that people keep coming back. And it's, what did we say last week? It's a fun thing to do on a Friday night. I mean, that's the task. Same thing that the Clippers have, the Crew. I mean, they're the diehards for all of them, but I mean, there's Blue Jackets too, for that matter. They're diehards for all of them. But what am I going to do on a Friday night? Oh, hey, let's go take out okay. So you got to have a great atmosphere there. But Reese, this is also something that's built for television. I mean, that's why it exists, is for the television partnerships. And we've lived the Fox world long enough with the Buckeyes to know that whatever a normal standard college football game is, add 15 minutes for Fox.
Yeah, the nightmare continues. It's just on a different day and with a less quality product because Ohio State football is kind of the pinnacle. Even with the NFL, you don't get as – and maybe that's because we're absolutely biased here, but the quality is the best on Saturdays with the Buckeyes, at least in terms of football in the Buckeye State. So it's never going to be that kind of a quality of what you're getting content-wise. So you can't serve two masters, right? And trying to do that, like Baker and I were talking before the show, and it feels like maybe you can't do it this season, but next season there'd be 8-minute quarters. Or you maybe even do like 6-minute quarters because you're not going to say no to the television dollars. You're not going to tell Fox or ESPN or whoever's going to have the package in the future, no. Yeah. So you've got to create a workaround. And I also wonder if that halftime concert, maybe making that was a mistake relative to hey, we've got to get this football game in a relatively easy time.
My guess is the concert was to draw the football people for the Friday night thing to do. That's probably what that was. You guys might be onto something. I wonder if in spring football, this would take some onions. I wonder if in spring football, people would think if networks and leagues would think of playing games that last 2 hours. Full stop.
Yeah.
2-hour game. So how do you do that?
I'd be okay if the NFL did that.
Well, they're not going to do that.
Some Sundays you're like, this game's got
28. They got 28 million people watching on a Sunday afternoon. They're fine. But I wonder if really rethinking the model and doing 2-hour games where I don't know if that's running clock. I mean, there'd be a way to do it. The only way that you could do it absolutely would be like how they do it with soccer, where it's a running clock. Maybe it's 2 45-minute halves with running clock with a 50. I don't know what the number would be. Maybe it's 2 50s. I'm not sure, but there might be something to that, where you have a 2-hour window. That's what so many people like about the people who are new to European soccer. Like it's a 2-hour window and it's done. Like is there something there where maybe it's find a way to do get it in 2 hours, and maybe that would keep you talk about serving two masters. Maybe that would do it. That might be something for them to look into at some point.
How did it come across to you guys on TV? How was the
they
production?
Sell it well.
Okay.
Yeah, they sell it well. It looked like they did a good job of selling it. I mean, it's Fox, big boy Fox. Like, you're not going to get a Mickey Mouse operation when it comes to presentation. It looked big time.
And it was Clat and Menifee, is that right? Who's on the call of those games?
I had a bottle of wine at anniversary dinner, so I can't tell you necessarily that I was paying attention to who was on the call. but
I know Brock Heward was on the sidelines.
Yeah. No, I mean, Reese, didn't you think? I thought it looked pretty damn professional. I thought
they made it look quality. Like almost like an NFL game.
Yeah.
The quality of the play was not that.
Yeah.
I will say it was cool to see Bernie Kosar there doing the coin toss and walking around. Mike Rapoli was everywhere on the sidelines, talking to everybody. He looked like he was having the time of his life down there taking pictures with Bernie and Cardell and everyone. Cardell Jones is just walking around on the sideline on his phone the whole time. I don't know who he's talking to. I don't know if he was recruiting or what, but he was walking around. Hey, Clayton Tune, you want to rethink that NHL or NFL futures contract and come back? Like, it was definitely a fun atmosphere.
I do think time
friend of the program, Mike Rapoli.
Friend of the program.
Our billionaire buddy.
Our billionaire friend, Mike Rapoli.
Right.
Time and tweaks, I think, will make this a viable product.
Yeah.
And I do think they have to be amenable to it at the end of the regular season, because Friday night was a great start in terms of this is a spectacle, but you do have to work on it so you're not sitting there from 7:30 to 11:30 at Historic Crew Stadium on a Friday night.
I will say this every time, and I'm not picking on Jalen McClendon, the quarterback of the Aviators, but every time I saw a pass that wasn't on time or it was behind the receiver, I thought, man, don't you think the Cleveland Browns would love to see Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel working on some things right now?
Yes. Yes, everybody would.
You've got to get that eventually, I think, to really make this succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the key. You need that partnership so that those guys who are buried on depth charts, not that those two necessarily are, they both started, but guys who need reps can get them. And then I think you're onto something. A couple other bit of business to take care of. College basketball transfer portal will open tomorrow. Now 4 Buckeyes in total in it. Gabe Cupps and Tayson Chapman join Devin Royal and Colin White, so 4 in the portal. Here's why this is a little bit of a concern to me. Now you have to replace them because you need 12, 15. I mean,
who's running the offense?
So, Junie will, and they're going to go get a point guard big game hunting in the portal. So, okay, that's the backcourt. But now who's the depth? You lost both your backup point guards. Now, I don't know what they were paying Cupps. I don't know what they were paying Chapman. I don't know what those guys are what they're worth on the open market. This is the job that you're having to put together. But now it's 2 more things you got to go figure out. Now you got to go get a backup point guard, and you need a starting point guard. So that's where this gets a little bit dicey when it comes to the roster building side of it. So and we'll talk about this with Scoonie because I think it adds a little bit of headache to all of this. There's guys out there that can replace them, but now you got to find that too. And congrats to UCLA winning the first NCAA basketball title. They won one back in '78, but Big Ten gets a national championship in women's basketball. They took care of South Carolina with relative ease, 79-51. Overshadowed by the Don Staley, Gino Auriemma stuff on Friday, where Gino kind of lost his mind a little bit, it seemed to me.
Yeah, I grew up in an era where you kind of enjoyed watching like the old authority get, a stone cold stunner or two. And I was wondering for like the UConn staffers, don't hold him back. Let him go at Dawn. She'd whoop his ass. Like there was no need. And then
it's so strange.
Gino's apology, at no point did he mention Dawn. Like I think they announced on the championship broadcast that he did reach out to her personally. But in his apology that he wrote was like no mention of Dawn Staley. It's like you need to apologize to her directly.
Well, she said that she never heard from him either. I mean, and she said, I don't want this to overshadow UCLA. So I'm with her on that. Like UCLA won the national title. They bombed them and they bombed everybody along the way and deserve all of the credit. And it's cool that they happened and they're in the Big Ten now. So God bless them. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy thing on Friday night.
What does Gino need to apologize for? And I'm not saying he's not in the wrong and he caused all of this, but what does he need to apologize for? Like, let's have villains in sports again. People are talking about this and it sucks. Right. It sucks that it overshadowed that South Carolina win, and maybe it overshadowed UCLA a little bit. This is what sports needs, villains. I love it. Let's have more villains. Let's have more coaches not liking each other and coaches battles, and we're all too nice nowadays.
I think he was kind of like a petulant child. Like this was his undefeated team that got stolen away from him, and he's won all these titles, and Dawn's the biggest threat. He used to spar with Pat Summitt at Tennessee all the time. I mean, he'd go at her all the time. Like he knows how to play the heel. He's comfortable there. So yeah, he'll be in that world for a while now. Speaking of heel, Dan Hurley's a pretty capable heel, but he's not a heel for us tonight. We need him to take care of business against Michigan, get perspective on the chances that UConn has from one of the best in the business. Scoonie Penn going to join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
The rain is coming soon. How can I prepare? My sump pump's getting really old and floods are not that rare.
You're right to think ahead before you're out of luck. I'll check it out with expert care for $37.
Client satisfaction guarantee.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Monday edition of the program. National championship game tonight. It is Michigan. It is UConn. We're going to see history one way or the other, either the first Big Ten championship since Michigan State or UConn getting their third in 4 years, which we haven't seen for a very, very long time. For perspective, we had it on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. He is 1212. He is the Hall of Famer, two-time first-team All-Big Ten when he was here, and a Final Four participant in 1998. Scoonie Penn joining us, buddy. I mean, we're in a position now where we're rooting for UConn, right? I guess that's where we're at.
Oh, we are. But this is so crazy for me because, I mean, I like UConn, but, you know, I think I've told you before in the past, like, the UConn guys giving me hell.
Yep.
Because obviously they beat us in the Final Four, and a lot of those guys are my good friends. So I'm rooting more for UConn, even though Michigan's a Big Ten school. But it's just hard to root for those guys.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. How did Dusty May do this with this particular Michigan team?
Well, I think they built the right way. If you look, they have a point guard who can control the tempo, control the team. He does a pretty good job scoring, but he gets guys involved. But you have size. They have a center in Mara who's unbelievable, protects the rim, can score in the post. And then obviously you have your Big Ten Player of the Year who has size of 6'8". He can do a lot of different things, very versatile. And then they have defensive players. They have guys that just play defense, can hit some open shots. But more than anything, like, I think they're a team that plays together. If you watch the way they play really good basketball together. They seem very unselfish, and they play hard.
They do, and I think that's – I led the show with this, buddy. I think that's one of the things that's forgotten a little bit here is, you know, in a one-and-done era and everybody's a transfer and all of this, like, great coaching, elite coaching, and Dusty May appears to be that. He put together a bunch of guys from other places. He had some holdovers, including our guy Roddy Gale, and he got them to all row in the same direction in pretty short order. And if you think about what college basketball is in 2026, that's the job, is it not?
It is. It like I'm not taking nothing from, you know, Dusty May called him a great coach, but I think these days you have to be a better manager because you're doing so many other things as far as recruiting your guys during the season. Getting guys from the portal, getting good high school players, getting these guys to buy in and gel, you know, every single year. So you have so much to manage. So you give him tons of credit because in this modern era, it's hard to do what he's done, and he's done a great job, and the team looks great.
Yeah, they do. On the other side, you have another bit of history here. The Dan Hurley numbers the last 4 years. Scoonie, they've lost one game in the tournament the last 4 years. It was to the national champion Florida by 2 points. If they have a second loss, and they are the underdog tonight, it will be to the eventual national champion in Michigan. How has he done this?
It's just amazing. I know Dan. He's a fiery coach, good guy. But what I've noticed about this team is people like to play for him, and that's very key. You get good guys out of the portal. You have good guys from high school. You're making pros, but guys like to play for him. Why? Because if you watch him offensively, he lets those guys play, but you must play defense on the other end. If you play defense, he doesn't mind what you do on offense, and it shows. I think the UConn players over this run these last 4 years, when I watch them play offense, they play so confident, it's so loose that even when they're down, you can't count them out because they just don't lose confidence because you have a coach on the sideline who believes in you, and he allows you to play your game. He lets his talent go out and do what they're supposed to do when they're on that court.
And I think what's interesting about it is, I say this, you know, when I coach youth, you're in the NBA, but I think guys want to be coached. And I think sometimes guys want to be coached hard, and I think he coaches guys hard. But, Scoonie, when you think about all of the coaching you've done and the folks you've been around who have done it best, how are they able to – is trust the key to that? I'm going to coach you hard, but trust me, it's going to pay off. Is that the key word?
Yeah, that's part of it. But also, it's the individuals. You know, you have guys that want to be good. They want to be great. They want to win. You know, they're not going to try to take the easy road. So they don't mind if you coach them hard and you get on them. It's just hard these days because a lot of kids don't like that. A lot of people might think now, well, you coach me hard. You coach me too hard, I'm out of here. I'm in the portal. I'm going somewhere else next year. But when you have coaches that coach you hard and you're an individual who responds to that, I mean, that's a great, dangerous combination. And that's why, you know, he's in his third, he's on his way to maybe winning 3 national championships in 4 years.
I just think it's one of the most remarkable things. And when you were in college, this all started, this UConn thing. Like Jim Calhoun got it going, and then they started to get to their apex when you were around, and you know all those guys, Khalid El-Amin, all those guys that were there, you know, late 90s and all of that and early 2000s. And now you think about 3 for Calhoun, 1 for Ollie, 2 for Hurley going for his 3rd. I mean, this could be a 7-time national champion all in the last 30 years, Scoon.
It's crazy. I think the people who really don't, really pay attention to basketball do not understand that in the last, 20-something years, this team, UConn, has been the program. They have been the model. Not Duke, not North Carolina, not Kentucky. They have won 6 national championships since 1999, or possibly winning 7. Look at the number of pros that come out of there, and you talk about blue bloods, and you don't mention UConn much, that conversation has to change, and they're on top. Although Duke has all these McDonald's All-Americans and all these NBA guys that are unbelievable, they haven't won many national championships lately, and UConn has taken that over, and they are the model of what a program looks like in college basketball.
They really are. They really are. I'll get you your pick in a second. I did want to ask you a little bit about some of the transfer portal stuff on the Ohio State stuff. You and I talked about Devin Royal last week, but Gabe Cupps, Tayson Chapman, they both go in the portal as well, so that's 4 along with Colin Quite. Here's the thing that I'm explaining, and I know they're going big game hunting for a point guard in the portal. I know they want a big in the portal, so those are 2 things they need to get. And neither Cupps or Chapman are what you would consider maybe guys on the court in the Final 5, although Chapman showed a little bit as the season went along. But now you got to go find those guys too. So whether this was intended or not, or maybe whether they're fine with it or not, now if you're Jake, you have to build an entire roster all over again.
Yep, it's a new age. You have to do that, but I'm sure that he's been prepared for this. You kind of get the writing on the wall, throughout the season. If you're there every day, dealing with these young men, you kind of figure out, who's going to stick around, who's not going to stick around, playing minutes, who has that look on their face that I'm out of here when the time comes. So it's something that he has to deal with every year. But, I'm sad to see those guys go. But I wish those guys luck in their next venture, and I'm sure they'll all land on their feet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the world we live in now, where you're going to have this, where you'll have 2 or 3 guys who stay, and then you got to build the other 8 or 9 around who is there. All right, you've been on this stuff. Michigan is in some places, Scoon, 7.5 point favorite in this game tonight. How do you see this one going?
It's so hard to pick. Michigan's size, their ability, the way they've been playing has been just magnificent. But I'm going with the coach that's been there before, in Dan Hurley. But also what I look at is I watch the way they hound the guards. Their defense, the way they play defense throughout the game is really good. Not saying Michigan can't, but there's just something there with UConn. I don't know what it is. It just seems like when the time comes, they just get it done. But I would love for the Big Ten to get a championship. I wish it was Illinois instead or Purdue, if not us. But yeah, my pick is UConn, and to say that Michigan's a 7-point favorite some places, I think is crazy. Not saying they can't do it, because what they did to Arizona was unbelievable. But UConn to me is a different beast. Dan Hurley's been there, and those guys just come together so well that I think UConn will pull it off tonight.
I'll tell you what, whether they can or not, I don't know how they're getting 7.5 points, Scoon. I mean, holy smokes, that just seems crazy to me. So we'll all be rooting for the Huskies tonight, and I know that's painful for you because you're going to hear from your buddies. Appreciate your time as always, buddy.
All right, take care.
All right, there you go. Scoonie Penn, 1212, the Buckeye Hall of Famer on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. So, national championship game tonight, potentially having to see Michigan win a national championship. If you're looking for good news on the ice, it didn't happen either. They're not buried, but it's gone about as poorly as it could the last stretch of games for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Is there hope for the week ahead with 5 games left to play? We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Mortgage rates have dropped, and the best news is they're expected to go down even more. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. If you've been thinking about buying a new home, now is the time. And with Third Federal's Buy Now, Refi Later program, you don't have to wait for rates to drop again. You get the guaranteed lowest rate now, and if rates drop later, even after you close, you can refinance to a lower rate for free. That's right, for free. And now with Third Federal's early rate lock, you can lock in the guaranteed lowest rate even before you find a house. So you'll always have the best rate. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today and lock in the guaranteed lowest rate.
Right now at Third Federal, lock in 5.99% APR 6.02% on a 30-year fixed rate purchase mortgage and refinance later if rates go down for free. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for buy now, refi later. Lowest rate guarantee and early rate lock at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I'm gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, we put new windows in a Dublin home last week. You wouldn't believe how much new light was let in. Changed the entire mood of the home.
You don't need fancy windows to change the mood of a room, Leslie. Know what else will do that? Wilson's Wicks, my new candle line. Here, smell this one.
Oh, that's bad.
I call it warm tuna salad. It's not for everyone.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Morning Juice is now live on YouTube. Join Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Thidoff weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
Just search 971 The Fan to catch the live experience or watch on demand.
The Fan.
Put more money back in your pocket this spring with special rates as low as 8.99% APR on debt consolidation loans from BMI FCU. Transfer your high-interest credit cards today. Apply at bmifcu.org/consolidate.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The new Chicken and Cheddar Rancher is here at Firehouse Subs. Protein packed with grilled chicken breast, crispy bacon, melted cheddar, and creamy buttermilk ranch. A trusted favorite elevated Firehouse Subs style. Grab the new Chicken and Cheddar Rancher today. And remember, Firehouse Subs catering is perfect to feed your team for any game day event. Visit the restaurant or skip the line and order through the Firehouse Subs app. You'll be thankful you did. Only at Firehouse Subs at participating U.S. restaurants.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
some programming updates for you. It sounds like Coach Day going to hit around 10:45 today, so we will take that live whenever he does get there. We'll move Austin up to around 10, probably 10:16, something like that. If you're looking forward to that, which I know that you are. Well, like I said up the top, Bake, you kind of had the ultimate Columbus sports weekend minus the wins, but this is the one that's nearest and dearest to your heart. Obviously, the Jackets have squandered this. They're not cooked, but they might as well be. It'd be easy for you to say, well, here we are all over again, and yet they're still in it. They're only 2 points out of the final wild card, and with 5 to go. But bigger issue problems are now arising, and you're having extended players-only meetings in locker rooms that normally takes 5 minutes that took 5 times that long. You were there. You stood outside. You went inside the room afterwards. What did you make of all of it?
So it was interesting because it's the first time I've ever been involved in anything like that. Yeah. And we're standing outside the locker room, and it gets to 5 minutes, and then it gets to 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, there's some things are being hashed out in there right now. And you have Porty and Mark Scheig and guys that have been there for a while, and they're like, yeah, this seems like a players-only meeting night. Because Saturday, they didn't play a perfect first period, but they played pretty good. There were signs. They were fast. They were on their toes. They were decisive. And then the second period came, Bo, and that all went away. And they were scrambling. They looked lost. They couldn't get the puck out of the zone. Turnovers at their own blue line. So it was. And usually when we go into the locker room, there's the guys you're going to talk to and maybe another player or two. All the players were leaving the locker room. So, their meeting wrapped up, and they opened the door. So you're kind of navigating around all of the players, and you go to Zach first. And the look on Zach's face I've seen a couple times, but it was different. It was one of, seriousness and really not happy. Mm-hmm. It seemed like, and he said he was going to keep that in the room. Bonus said the same thing, that was the players, and that's between them. And he obviously knew what was said in there, and I'm sure he was a little part of some of it. But they realize, this is a come-to-Jesus moment, that it's now or never. We've got 5 games left in this thing, and we've squandered way too many chances, way too many points. We have got to fix it now, or we're done playing hockey the second week of April.
It's like an all-time face plant. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, get the 3, or hopefully get the 2, and then host Pittsburgh in the first round. Mm-hmm. And now it's looking like it won't even be postseason for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think it's too little too late. Points-wise, you laid it out. They're not out of it. But games that they've got,
I got it.
Don't give me enough confidence with the way they're playing. So you got the schedule upcoming, and the way they're playing are both really bad at a really bad time.
This is why Saturday. I mean, hell, a week ago at this time, Jody was saying the Tuesday nighter, the Thursday nighter against Carolina was a must-win, and we've lost twice since then. So this is why he said what he said then. This is why the game Saturday was a must-win. You can save it about playing hard, all of that. We're long past that. We're professionals. It's enough. But to lose that game it's as bad as can be, and here's why. So Tuesday, this is now a 3-game road trip, next 3 games on the road. They are at Detroit, okay? I told you last week, if you were to go to a game to see what a playoff game would have felt like, go up to Detroit tomorrow night, and you'll get it, because those are 2 teams that have 88 points. Those are 2 teams that have played 77 games. So they are 2 points out of the final wild card. Then Thursday, they're at Buffalo. If you're saying, well, what's Buffalo playing for? Well, they're playing for the number 1 overall seed. They're playing for home ice advantage. They've played 77 games. They have 100 points. The team that you play on Saturday is Montreal. They've played 77 games. They have 100 points. Sound familiar? Montreal and Buffalo are fighting for home ice. They're fighting for matchups. They both have 100 points. So you're not going to get anybody coasting in that game. Then all of a sudden, Sunday, you're back here at home against the Bruins. The Bruins have played 78 games. They have 95 points. They are in. But they're also not going to push chips in. No chance. Then you finish Tuesday here against Washington, who's played 78 games, has 87 points, 1 point behind you, and who knows? Maybe this Washington team can make a little bit of a run. They're only 3 points out of a wild card. So and by then it could be cooked, quite honestly. So it got late early. Reese, I think you're right. I think it's an all-time faceplant, considering the way that they were playing. Maybe we were fooled by the stretch of hockey out of the break. I don't know. Maybe we were. The bonus bounce, all that stuff. It's all gone now.
I think we're going to have our answers, Bo, to whether they're cooked or not right away on Tuesday night, tomorrow night. Because you have a players-only meeting like this, it can go one or two ways. And the infamous one in Vancouver in 2019, right, that sent the Jackets on a string of hockey that got them in the playoffs, got them in as the 8th seed, and then the famous sweep of Tampa. Mm-hmm. So it can go one of two ways. You can take off and go, or you can just pack up your bags and leave. And I think this is a perfect time after this meeting to go on a road trip, a 3-game road trip, a hard 3-game road trip, as you mentioned, the teams you have to play, where it's just you guys. The only people that you're with are the people that are either going to help you swim or help you sink here in this thing. And I think it's a perfect time for that. And I think we'll know pretty quick on Tuesday if the season is over or if the season is going to continue.
We talk a lot. I mean, I think we could probably trademark the phrase chasing the 8 because they perpetually chase the 8. That's kind of the ceiling for the franchise, and what it's been over 25 years is just try to get in, try to be the 8. There's pressure that comes with that. Rick Bowness addressed that post-game Saturday. If the pressure has gotten to this team, here was his answer.
You know what? Time will tell on that, right? So here we are. We're still in it. We're still in the fight. Fortunately, the Islanders lost again. We've had plenty of opportunity here to help ourselves, and we haven't. So is that not handling it well? Well, we're going to find out, right? You look at our last 2 games, we don't have a goal from a forward, right? And so let's, I'm certainly going to have to look at me and take a look at how we've got these lines constructed. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to figure out ways to get more offense. But, who was the difference tonight for them? Shifley and Connor. And Hellebuck made the big saves when he had to. So our top offensive guys, they're going to have to step up, and time will tell, are they handling it well? It's on them. I mean, they've got to step up and produce. And so, again, it's on me to take a strong look at how we've got these lines constructed now going on the road.
I mean, how do we make sense of that? It was just 16 shots on net Saturday, and that was coming off of what we saw in Carolina in the back-to-backs, or just no attempts on net. Like, what is happening in the offensive zone?
Bo, I think that you have a bunch of guys that are trying to do too much right now. And you're seeing some East and West hockey and some guys trying to go 1-on-4. 1-on-5, and it's causing turnovers that are keeping the puck in your zone. There was a couple times the other night in the first or early in the second period, Marchment and Marchenko had turnovers right at your own blue line that you thought you were getting the puck out, but then they keep it in the zone for an extended period of time. You had that a lot. Fantilli, and I think Fantilli is out there working as hard as anyone right now, but you saw him the other night go 1-on-5 through the zone, and I think they're trying to make the perfect play rather than just the easy play. I think sometimes you're seeing, and Rick Bowness, and I even asked him about this post-game, he's talked about selfishness a couple times these past couple of weeks, and it's a different kind of selfishness, but I think sometimes these guys might need to be a little more selfish and shoot the puck. Yeah. It seems like they're overpassing a little bit rather than just getting a puck on net and then crashing for the rebound and creating havoc in traffic. I just think you have some guys right now that are trying too hard.
Yeah. And you do that, you grip the sticks a little too tight, and you've lost 6 in a row, and now hanging on for dear life. Second hour is going to be a big one. We'll blitz the weekend. We'll talk to Austin Ward. Ryan Day will be at the podium, we are told, around 10:45. We will carry that for you as well. Second hour coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Tinley.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment is like driving the entire length of a football field blind. Don't let those few seconds distract you from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
Hey there, guys. Bo Bishop here. When it comes to making a big decision like the ring, you don't wing it. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Cellar. For nearly 80 years, their family has helped generations of couples celebrate life's biggest moments with exceptional quality, larger diamonds, and better value. And guys, here's the best part. They walk you through it step by step so you know you're getting it right. Whether you're ready to propose or ready to upgrade, visit Diamond Cellar, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, or learn more at diamondcellar.com. diamondcellar.com.
I'm Yolanda Harris. I'm a journalist at 10 TV News. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it moves. It moves you to act, to verify, to volunteer. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at 10 TV, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Central Ohio.
I'm Roger from Columbus. I've lived in Ohio all my life. Owning your home is a cornerstone of the American dream. But for seniors, property taxes keep going up and are costing us everything we've worked for. They're even making it impossible for my grandkids to afford their first homes. Vivek Ramaswamy believes when you own your home, you're in charge. As governor, he'll roll back property taxes to levels from before the end of the pandemic. It's a practical plan that will put thousands of dollars back in your pocket next year while maintaining strong education and dependable police and fire. Ohio's politicians have ignored this crisis for too long. But Vivek Ramaswamy isn't a politician. He's an entrepreneur, and he's ready to fight for you. Ohio needs a leader who makes your life more affordable. That's Vivek Ramaswamy.
Lower costs, bigger paychecks, better schools. Vivek Ramaswamy for governor.
Paid for by Vivek Ramaswamy and Rob McCauley for Ohio.
Grab me a new cross-match bingo from the Ohio Lottery.
Sure thing. You said match bingo cross?
No, the newest $10 scratch-off with prizes up to $500,000.
Yeah.
The ticket's so big, it's only sold at retail counters. The one with over $15 million in prizes? Cross-match bingo.
One cross bingo match coming up.
However you say it, cross-match bingo combines cash word, bingo, and match games all into one for even more fun. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Aetna has been my lifesaver. Easy to understand, and if not, customer service is always there to help.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We show up for you, because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. During Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off on new windows for your home. Plus, you could get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. The sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com now to book a consultation.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turns, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne. Burn, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The big dance wraps up tonight in Indianapolis. UConn battles Michigan in the national championship. Tip-off from Lucas Oil's 8:50. Could be a Big Ten sweep in Division I as UCLA knocked off South Carolina yesterday in the women's title game. First NCAA championship for the Bruins in program history. The transfer portal is open on the women's side. The portal opens on the men's side Tuesday. Transfer portal will have 4 Buckeyes. Devin Royal, Colin White, Gabe Cupps, and Tayson Chapman have announced plans to go portaling. The NCAA is also going to expand the tournament for both the men and the women to 76 teams. In college football, Ohio State's back to spring practice this morning. The annual spring games 1 week from Saturday. Ryan Day is going to speak with the media this morning, sometime in the 10 o'clock hour when Coach Day takes the podium. We'll carry his comments live on The Fan. This update is sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co., locally inspired dishes and award-winning cocktails. Visit highbankco.com to make your reservation. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Monday edition of the program. We understand Coach Day is going to be at the podium around 10:45, so we will take that for you live. That means Austin moves up to the 10:17-ish area, and that means Weekend Blitz happens right now. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present a Weekend Sports Blitz.
Sponsored by Metal Supermarkets. Visit metalsupermarkets.com/Columbus for all your metal needs.
I believe I had that. Reese, we'll start with you. What'd you have?
I had the Cavs, the Cleveland Cavaliers, need the 4 spot. So they beat the Pacers yesterday, and water is wet. But Donovan Mitchell goes down with an ankle injury, and if they lose Donovan Mitchell, they are absolutely cooked. But if they can get the 4, they can avoid the Boston Celtics till at least the Eastern Conference Finals, and they must do that, especially if in the last full month of the regular season, Mitchell's dealing with an ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
Just a brutal occurrence yesterday against the Pacers of all people.
I mean, you had that. You got the Luka injury, Austin Reeves for the Lakers as well. Like, it's just a walking wounded in that league. It's crazy. Bake.
I believe I had that Columbus would again show out. Mm-hmm. And you should commend yourself, Columbus, for getting to the Aviators game on Friday night. Over 15,000 of you were there for that. Braved the threat of weather. Now, it never really happened. There was a little bit of rain right about the time the game was starting, but Columbus did a great job. You got Aviators chants. You had people pounding their feet on the metal bleachers, which was good. Awesome. You even late in the game got an Aiden Sayin chant, who I'm pretty sure nobody even knew who Aiden Sayin was. They didn't know that Julian even had a brother until the Aviators signed him. I also am not sure that they don't realize that Aiden Sayin is the third string quarterback, not even the backup, so I'm guessing he wouldn't be the second guy to go in either. But it was a great night over at historic Crew Stadium, and I hope that the UFL and the Aviators last a long time.
Yeah, me too. I think it would be really cool, and I think with a couple of tweaks, and it seems like Mike Rapoli knows what he's doing on that it'll get the sweet spot that it needs, and it feels like we'd be a good home for it. I remember after Ohio State lost to Michigan the first time through, and they played really hard, we came on here and we did kind of a dissection of it, and they lost the game, but I thought that they played their rear ends off and were in the mix. And I remember saying on the show that day, and this wasn't reinventing the wheel, but I remember saying vividly, Michigan can win a national title. And the reality is I didn't think it would be this easy for them. I had no idea that they would bomb Arizona the way that they did, but they did, and they'll have a chance to do that tonight. But there's a lot of people want to, they bought it. Everybody's buying a roster, man. Everybody is. Ohio State's going to have 3 guys back. Everybody else is going to be new. That's probably the way this thing's going to shake out. So this is the sport at this moment, and they did it correctly with May. And the way that he put that roster together, really the last 2 years, right away, very elite, very quickly. So unfortunately, we did have that one. Did not have that. What did you not have, Reese?
So Friday was a pretty busy sports day because you had the Guardians with their home opener. Then I wanted to take in the Columbus Aviators on Fox, but I also found myself watching UConn and South Carolina on the women's side because when those two programs, those two coaches, and Don Staley and Gino Auriemma are going against each other, that's almost must-see television, or at least as almost must-see as it gets. And I did not have myself rooting for Don Staley to put hands on Gino Auriemma. That game goes final, and I'm like seeing UConn staffers try to hold him back, and I'm like, no. Let's see what happens with this, because Don Staley's winning that fight 10 times out of 10.
I don't know what was his beef. Did he ever say it was something about like she didn't shake his hand pregame, but she did? So
she didn't meet him at the center. I was about to say center ice. I guess there's an unwritten rule, which I hate these things, that they were supposed to meet pregame, however many minutes before tip-off, and just exchange pleasantries. And Don did not do that. Was what drew his ire.
I'm going to go with my theory that he had an undefeated team and he thought he was going to have another national championship and behaved like a petulant child. That's going to be mine on that.
I think he also wasn't getting calls, and he was pretty upset with that, too, and thought that Don Staley was getting to the refs, and I don't know. I did not have Michigan just boat racing Arizona like that. Early on in the year, I remember Jacob Reimer talking about Arizona and their backcourt. So I took a little gander at Arizona throughout the year, watching them, and I did feel that they were probably the best team. Now, there was a time where I thought, Michigan could challenge them, right, with their length and their athletic ability. But I did, for most of the year, like Jacob Reimer, believe that Arizona was the best team because of that backcourt. Well, Burry's a freshman, didn't look the part. Bradley got in foul trouble, really wasn't a factor in the game. And Landenborg, even with a calf or whatever it was, a bone bruise, as they're calling it, just continued to hit three after three after three in that second half. That was about as impressive and a dominating performance that I've seen a basketball team have in a long time.
Yeah, I agree, because I thought Arizona was the best team, too, and they buried them. I did not have that one at all. To not be redundant, I would also say I did not have getting a sunburn, because I was at lacrosse from 8:15 in the morning to 6:15 at night on Saturday, and then the following day needing like a winter coat. But that's where we are. That's where we are on in an April in Ohio. So maybe I should have had that. Player who impressed, Reese, who do you got?
Well, right now, Jensen Lewis is 7th in our Bishop and Friends bracket challenge.
Let's go.
He's got Michigan as his national champion. So right now, I think he would finish 2nd if Michigan wins. Adam is in 1st place right now. He's also got the Wolverines. And
Not
so
King.
No, Adam H. So we got a couple, Coach Beard, shout out to him, who's 10th right now, but they've all got the Wolverines. So if Michigan wins, it looks like our buddy J. Lou's going to be 2nd in this thing. Pretty good.
Let's go, J. Lou.
That's great.
That's why
God
he's
bless
doing
him.
betting shows on Vizn or whatever
That's
it
right.
is.
Yeah, he does.
Joe Adell is an outfielder for the Los Angeles Angels, and he's usually known for hitting balls over the fence. However, he's not been off to a good start offensively this year. I think he's batting .237 with just 3 RBIs and no home runs. But Saturday night, in a 1-0 win over the Seattle Mariners, in the first inning, he robbed Cal Raleigh of a home run. In the 8th inning, he robbed Josh Naylor of a home run. And then in the 9th inning, to preserve the win, he robbed J.P. Crawford of a home run, in which he ended up in the outfield stands. And there is an iconic picture now going around the internet of him standing up with both arms in the air and a fan behind him taking a picture with the field in the background and the fans around him. People are calling it the best defensive game ever from Joe Adell on Saturday night.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Player who impressed, baby boy Bootsy. So he's a 4th grader, and he had 3 games in the morning lacrosse, and the 5th, 6th grade team didn't have enough players. So the coach asked me if, who's a buddy of mine, asked me if Bootsy could play up. I said, well, yeah, but size-wise, from 4th to 6th, you're going to have a pretty big problem there potentially. So just, make sure he's not in harm's way too much. And he's like, no, he'll be good. He'll be good. I'm like, I didn't know if he would be. Well, he was. Not only that, the little bugger scored the game-winning goal in the 5-6 game. So good job out of him. I didn't know he had it in him. Great job, Boots. Player who disappointed, Reese.
Well, there's one team above all that's been the most disappointing thing, or at least over the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to say me for doubting CJ Kafis. Yesterday against the Cubs, he had a pair of hits. He had 3 hits in their doubleheader overall, but he tied the game at 4 with a solo shot that sparked a 3-run 8th inning that dispatched the Chicago Cubs in Game 2 of that set. So he went from a .038 batting average going into that series, and he was at like 264. So, yeah.
I think we're on pace for an All-Ohio World Series here.
Yeah, that's
right
what it's
now.
looking like. It'll be, Guardians and Reds.
Also, the Guardians right now, their over-under win total is 79.5. I feel like that's the best bet in sports right now.
If you're going to run to your bookie, stretch before you run, but briskly move and take that.
Yeah, Reese, it's funny. I'm going to go the same way you did, except it's not you. It's me.
Oh.
That is my player who disappointed this week. I found myself yesterday on the fan call-in show and on the money kind of complaining a little bit about, man, it's 40 minutes to play 3, and then this long. I had to leave the Aviators game after the third quarter because I had to go home and feed the dogs. And then, oh, man, I had to wait 25 minutes to get in the Blue Jet. I'm getting to go watch these games and getting paid to do it and getting to watch, get in there for free, and they feed me, and first world problems over here. Stop complaining. Just enjoy the damn game.
You've become spoiled media, Bake. Welcome. Pretty soon you're going to be complaining about not parking right across the street from Ohio Stadium and walking in and taking elevators.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Just come on in. You're ready. I got the Easter Bunny, man. This guy blew it. When I'm looking at these baskets. I mean, number one, his financial power is much greater than probably he should be by the looks of what was in the basket. And then a steady diet of Peeps. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? There's not even anything I want to steal. I mean, just totally drop the ball. Easter Bunny this year. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Reese?
UCLA's Corey Close.
Yeah.
That was the run that the Lady Bruins are on, and just the idea the Don Staley with back-to-back national championships, and not the case. So there's one for the Big Ten of 2, and Tony Petitti's about to have himself a week.
Yeah.
For me, it's Dan Hurley. He's 18-9 in his last 19 NCAA tournament games. He's 19-5 overall. He is 14-0 once he gets to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. He is 11-0, I believe it is, against the spread from the round of 32 on. It is just a ridiculous coaching job that this man has done at UConn, and I understand sometimes he can be prickly and sometimes people don't like him, but usually those are the best coaches because they're trying to get the best out of you and the best situation for their team. I don't know how, and I understand Michigan looked super impressive, and I also believe Dusty May is the second best coach in the sport. I don't know how you bet against that man tonight.
No, I like that number a lot. If that's something you're interested in, I'll go quickly here. I'm going to go Ryan. I think Ryan Day and continuing the student appreciation practice that they have, I think it's awesome. And I love the T-shirt he signed. If you're unfamiliar with it, go to 11 Warriors, check out the Skull session from Monday, and you will see the photo of the T-shirt he signed from the student who was there. So very good job. We're going to hear from Ryan in about a half hour from now. You're going to hear from Austin Ward coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. April's the perfect time to reset your home for the long run, and Universal Windows Direct makes that decision easy. Right now, when you buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, and there's no limit. The more you upgrade, the more you save. Plus 24 months with no payments and no interest. And if you need some more, how about a $500 bonus off your home improvement project? Schedule your free estimate today. Call 614-502-5220. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh, no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment is like driving the entire length of a football field blind. Don't let those few seconds distract you from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
April is Autism Acceptance Month, and it's an important reminder that we must support and celebrate all students, no exceptions. That's what Ohio's public schools do. We don't pick and choose our students. We provide safe, welcoming learning environments for all, because public education matters.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plan for a pretty quiet rest of your day, although it is going to be breezy at times. Northwest winds of 10 to 20 gusts higher. Partly cloudy skies overall, in the mid-50s for a high this afternoon. Mostly clear skies tonight with a widespread freeze. Temperatures fall down to the lower 30s. On Tuesday, it'll be a cool one, even with lots of sunshine. Highs only reach the upper 40s. The wind is going to be quite a bit lighter. For the Fan, I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Justin Gertz.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvus weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, the Fan. He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Kids eat half off every Monday. Find a location and menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank Distillery.
A little earlier than normal for Mr. Ward, as Coach Day is going to be around. Is that boots on the ground number 10:45 seem about right, Bud? Is that where we're at, just for some producing standpoint?
That's what we're working with right now, Bo. It is Buckeye time, so of course that's subject to change. But we got a little heads up that, as has happened for several of the practices in camp, that we wanted to go a little bit earlier, get that work done. So, and I think that maybe coming off of Student Appreciation Day on Saturday, and I think maybe a bigger scrimmage on Wednesday, that today is just a little bit lighter and maybe quicker.
What did you learn from Saturday? Which, by the way, is awesome that they do that.
Yeah, it's great. It's very cool and appreciated that it's gone on as long as it has, that tradition. And especially now that you've added like a family element, former Buckeyes coming back, a ton of those. Great to see. Bradley Roby gave some words of wisdom to the DBs after practice, caught up with CJ Saunders. Josh Myers back to talk to the offensive line. I could name more, but I'll leave it at that. But, the practice itself, I think, is obviously what we've been waiting and wanting to see, because the media had not had a viewing period since week one. And it's tough, not to leave with any other takeaway than Ohio State needs to be fully healthy on the offensive line for this thing to function. And that may be stating the obvious, but at least on Saturday for me, it kind of shaded everything. Like James Smith and Edric Houston can be a real force, and they're fun to watch, and they are athletically gifted. How much of that success in a scrimmage setting is just that Ohio State is shorthanded on the offensive line at the moment. And I'm not just talking one or two. Austin Sarvold and Phillip Daniels, neither one were available for practice. Josh Padillas missed all of camp. Then you had somebody who's like a top 8, top 9 guy, and Jake Cook, go down early in that practice as well. So, that kind of changed everything for both the top unit and the second unit. And considering how much interest there is in the offensive line coming off the last 2 games, it was hard to leave thinking about anything else. But, once you got into 7-on-7 stuff and the passing attack didn't have to worry about pass rush and protection, which I know is a key part of this. I think it will be better by the time you get to August fully healthy. I thought, Bo, it was really encouraging to see some of the drag route mesh concept underneath passing attack working with guys like Kyle Parker and Devin McEwen and Brock Boyd and Brandon Ennis even. It felt like some of the stuff that you and I have talked about with going back to 2018, 2019 was coming to fruition on the practice field. So I think that was offensively more encouraging than some of the discouraging things that, I think you have to take with a grain of salt up front.
I think I'm glad you put it that way at the end, on the take with a grain of salt, the injury stuff. And then the other thing, defensive line usually handles offense when it comes to team against team stuff. That's usually the way that it works when you do the whether NFL, college, whatever it is. Defense usually has the advantage of these things. You mentioned the name Brock Boyd. Black stripe removed. Everyone's going, wait a second. The first receiver in the freshman class with the black stripe remove is a 3-star kid. But then if you look a little bit into it, you go, oh, this guy had 4,000 yards receiving in high school, nearly 50 touchdowns, and he played at South Lake Carroll, which is a football factory. Quinn Ewers was there. How did this kid float under the radar? And are we to the point where he could be counted on this season? I mean, losing a black stripe this early is noteworthy.
Yeah, the truth is I don't really know how his recruitment, at least in terms of his ranking, flew so far under the radar. I will tell you that there was never a moment in this building where I'm standing right now, or where the previous wide receivers coach, thought he was taking a flyer or that he had a diamond in the rough. He thought that he had a real one. And for all of the conversation that we had about salvaging Chris Henry Jr. and Jaquaden Guilford at the last minute, there were some people that were like, we got Brock Boyd, and maybe if you just get one out of those other 2, you're going to be fine, because that was how highly they thought of him even before he had stepped foot on campus or gone through winter workouts or had a black stripe removed after 7 workouts. So I don't want to get out too far ahead of things. I'm always cautious about spring buzz and freshman hype, and there's only one Jeremiah Smith, so holding anybody to that standard would be unfair. But if the other things that I'm talking about with going back to 18 and 19, Bo, are true, well, that was a group that thrived because it had 5 or 6 interchangeable pieces that could run all the routes and concepts that they were trying to do. And I think what is elevating Brock Boyd right now, at least relative to his peers or ahead of the expectations, is that he knows how to do all of those things. He's a really sharp route runner. Some of the cliches about being a coach's son apply here, but he's also incredibly fast. I mean, it is not a fluke. The track times in Texas are just as impressive as his production on the field for South Lake Carroll. So all those things are helping him. I think it would be unwise to not pencil him into the top 6 at this point, and then how high it goes from there, we'll see.
So that's an attention getter. One of the things I think we were all curious about, anytime you guys have an ability to watch things, and you mentioned a little bit, 18, 19, the mesh concept, some of those things. When you think about offensively, the emphasis that or the impact that Arthur Smith can have on the Ryan Day offense, and Ryan's always, this is the Ohio State offense, right?
Yep.
We saw Chip run it. We saw Brian and Ryan run it last year, and now we're going to see Arthur run it this year. What influences are you seeing? And again, grain of salt, some of this stuff, folks, because it's really early. You don't have your running backs and you got injuries and so forth. But just what are some of the things that you've noticed?
Yeah, I think beyond, just some of the drag routes and stuff, when we're talking about the pass game, because I don't know that the other part of this with injuries for Ohio State is I don't know if we've seen both the offensive line and the backfield were really banged up and stretched thin on Saturday. I think that's where we all anticipate Arthur Smith's greatest impact happening. But, Turbo Rogers didn't practice, Legend Bay didn't practice, Bo Jackson was out, Isaiah West have been out all spring. Like that, they were down to a new transfer in Jacoby Jackson, a true freshman in Favor Aki, and then a walk-on in Stanley Jackson Jr. in the backfield on Saturday. So I don't know that we've seen all of that show up quite yet. But the thing that you said is really interesting to me, Bo, which is like the Ohio State offense and the Ryan Day offense. There were parts of it the last couple of years that I just think were in mothballs for reasons I didn't really understand. I think about the walk-in touchdowns that Chris Olave or KJ Hill would get through, misdirection or, fake motion going back the other direction. I mean, I saw that play again on Saturday for a touchdown and on both sides of the field in red zone scenarios. That I think was encouraging to see. I think maybe what the fresh set of eyes Arthur Smith provides, and this is going deep down a rabbit hole, but
sure,
we were talking last week about some of the sliding doors moments on the Austin and Berm show where Arthur Smith, Mike Vrabel tried to hire Ryan Day at Tennessee with the Titans, and then Arthur Smith became the offensive coordinator there. I wonder if some of the fresh sets of eyes are just a matter of Arthur Smith saying, hey, this is some of the stuff that Mike Vrabel and I really liked when we were looking at your film early in your Ohio State career. Like, seems like maybe we could bring some of that back. And again, I don't know if that's happening. That was just what I was struck with on Saturday, because it was like rediscovering some of the things that made Ohio State more dangerous and more versatile and threatening both horizontally as well as vertically. So I think maybe that's it. I'm really interested to ask. I don't know if we'll have a chance to really dig deep into that here shortly when Ryan Day's at the podium, given the nature of the way that works. But I'm penciling in the coaches clinic right before the spring game next week as like a better chance to maybe get some pulse checks on that. It's an idea that I can't shake.
Yeah, no, I'm curious about it too. So when I hear you talking about those things, I'm like, okay, well that's exciting stuff. One of the things that's a theme of this spring that's different than any other spring we've had around here is the new faces, 51 new faces. I've said a lot of this transfer portal acquisition stuff is shotgun marriages. You don't have a time to get to know somebody. You don't have a time to build relationships. They preach brotherhood and all of those things. And I'm asking you to get in the head, and I'll get you out of here on this, but asking you to get into the head of players and just kind of get a feel. Does it feel like Ohio State normal despite all the new faces?
Yeah, shotgun marriage is a good way of putting it. And I think even when we talk about 51, most of the starting lineup is still likely going to be developed inside this building. And that part of the culture, I think, has carried over. But I like every practice that we've been in here for, whether we get to watch it or not, when we have interviews afterwards, I'm endlessly curious about who are the guys that stay to get the most reps after practice. And watching the way that James Smith, Quay Rousseau have, sort of made themselves part of that group with Edric Houston and Kenyatta Jackson after practice, like, well, it feels like or looks like these guys have known them for a long time. And I think maybe there's real benefit to having winter workouts and mat drills in those 2 months to really find out what guys are like and assimilate into the culture in a different way than just practice. So these guys know who works. They know what it takes to work at Ohio State. It has felt relatively normal from that respect. And that's not just one position group. That's almost all of them that I've noticed that happening. So that part has felt like business as usual, even though it is still difficult at times I still, Bo, had to use the flip card on Saturday. So yeah. I'm still having to double check who some of these guys are and which numbers, but we'll get through that part for sure. But everything else is still. It doesn't feel like this has become, a bunch of hired guns. I think they were purposeful about who they brought in, and I think that they've largely been proven correct about the culture fit through this point.
All right, great stuff as always, buddy. We'll let you get to it. You get the Ryan Day press conference in about 15 minutes. Thanks for your time as always, bud.
All right, see you, Bo.
There goes Austin Ward, the beat with Austin and Berm and Letterman Row right here at the Fan as well. Coming up in 2 minutes, we will get you set for the Ryan Day press conference. Austin said something there pretty interesting about getting back. He used the word mothballs, getting back to what Ryan Day is offensively. We'll get into that coming up next, and Coach Day coming up in about 15 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to make memories than the Columbus Zoo. See tigers up close, watch playful otters, and see the baby elephants in action. For a limited time, take advantage of our Zoo After 2 p.m. deal. Plan your adventure at columbuszoo.org.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to power your progress, so you can give everything you've got, all for just 1 cent down. Whether you want to get the most out of our best-in-class equipment or go all in with free fitness training, our trainers are ready to help you get stronger than ever before. Take your workout to the next level at Planet Fitness. Join the club today for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, April 10th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See Club for details.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The show that understands the importance of a situational beverage. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
It's always important to be grain of salt, cautiously, not optimistic. Be cautious with your judgments that happen in spring on about both positive and negatively. But as Austin said there, one thing I can tell you, whether you're coaching 7th graders or NFL players, 7-year-olds or NFL players, really, it can go that far. When you go head-to-head with your own defense, the defense should win. If the offense is running and doing whatever it wants on the defense, then you got big problems. The defense knows the plays. They know what you're trying to do. You can talk all the time about how can we get anything done when you guys are cheating the plays, but I see it at the NFL level. They do it. That's why they do the joint practices in the NFL, so you get a real look, because you can't get a real look when you're going against your own team.
And especially during a student appreciation day, like there's that video of Jeremiah at the end, and it's a very celebratory moment. He steps out of bounds. Mm-hmm. So again, that's there, and the officials won't call it because I think they also understand the assignment. You brought the students in, you're trying to celebrate. Yeah, and so that's the celebratory moment of Jeremiah putting the exclamation point on the practice. They also had a field goal, a pressure field goal. All the students came around, and they were actually able to hit. And so those are the kind of moments from a practice like that. Yeah. Is where you're just there to have some fun. Similarly with the spring game. Like, it'll be interesting to see formations, and maybe you can read stuff into depth chart, although I guess not too much because you've got injuries on your offensive line. You've also got Bo Jackson and Isaiah West out for the spring, although I think we're going to hear from both of those players on Friday. So I'm interested to hear from them kind of what they've been doing and how they've been taking everything in from this spring. So, yeah, it's all, I think, just for fun for the most part.
Yeah, I think the stuff, let's just put this caveat to it. It's for fun in terms of what we see. That's for fun. What's happening behind closed doors is critical. And one of the things that's happening behind closed doors, I mean, Brock Boyd losing his black stripe, that's noteworthy. For a freshman, this soon? For a 3-star, this soon? Like, something happened in the evaluation of him that doesn't track. It just doesn't. I don't understand a scenario how a kid who plays at South Lake Carroll has those track times that he has that production that he has, goes under the radar.
Especially when a Brian Hartline identifies him and says, I want this kid. Usually that makes a jump. Like Tavian St. Clair, I believe, was a 4-star. Ohio State signed him. He became a 5-star. Now, I'm not saying Tavian didn't deserve that, right? He probably did. He was athletically talented enough. I have never understood. I understand there are measurables off the field. Mm-hmm. But I have never understood judging a player off of just those measurables. Like, sometimes you just have to put on the tape and be like, hey, this kid can play. And it's not like this was Division VII football here in Ohio where you don't know the caliber. That was big boy Texas high school football. You know he was playing some studs.
South Lake Carroll is one of the most important high school football programs of the last 25 years.
Isn't it yours?
Yeah.
Is it Baker?
No, he's Texas. He's Lake Travis, or he's in Austin.
Okay,
he's Austin.
Lake Travis, I think, is
Lake
right.
Travis, or there's two in Austin that are good. There's there's 100 in Texas that are good. But South Lake Carroll, Highland Park, those are the Dallas suburb behemoths. South Lake Carroll, the Dodge guy was there, and then his kid got it there, and those are factories. Those are football factory programs, and if you're putting up that type of statistical accumulation there, that means you're doing things right. So I think that's noteworthy. And then the other thing that I am looking forward to in the spring game, because it really doesn't. It is fun. It's theoretically the official start of spring in Central Ohio, so you have that to look forward to, which is nice. But the other thing is just how they go about their business offensively. Austin he was talking about those mesh concepts. He mentioned KJ and Olave running, untouched into the end zone for touchdowns. I miss those things. So that would be pretty cool if we get back into that. I think the last couple of years, Ohio State has lived on the outside of the hashes far too often and ignored the middle of the field far too often. So if the passing game gets back to getting those crossers and hitting guys running in space and getting them turning it up, then that feels like a win for me as well. So that's something that we will be able to see in the spring game, no matter who's running it. Whether it's Tavian or one of the other quarterbacks, whoever's catching it, it's how they go about their business, I think, is going to be fascinating to see. So I think there's plenty of stuff to watch for in all of this. And the big picture stuff, and Austin had a good point about how most of the starters are in-house guys. Most of that. There's going to be some new guys that are going to have to be counted on. Those are portal, certainly on the defensive side. But big picture-wise, most of your talent, certainly offensively, is returning talent.
I'm excited to see what they do with Devin McCune. Like it does feel, and again, this is just from that. I think we're at the halfway. We might be one practice past the halfway point of spring, but where your wide receivers are going to be Jeremiah, Brandon Innes, and Devin McCune, and then everybody else kind of fills in after that, and you sprinkle in some Chris Henry Jr. Like, that's a lot of speed, that's a lot of talent. That's to the points of we're bringing back a more open up this kind of offense rather than sit on the football. Also with McCune coming out there, I already mentioned McCune, but Brock Boyd and that kind of speed, like he's in the top 6, as Austin might have mentioned, but there's a lot of fun. The potential there is really exciting. And that's I think a nod to what they did, not only in the portal, but in recruiting. I was looking, and only 4 schools offered Boyd from Texas: TCU, Houston, Texas Tech, and SMU.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I understand we're talking about Ryan Day and dusting off the offense and this and that. Maybe I'm just jaded from the last couple of years, but I don't see more than 3 wide receivers getting in this rotation. And Chris Henry Jr. is going to be in this rotation.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be a lot of Jeremiah, Chris Henry Jr., and Brandon Innes. And I don't know how much we're going to see the other guys. I hope that I'm wrong. I want to see Kyle Parker. I want to see Brock Boyd. I want to see Devin McCune. I just don't know if we're going to, because we didn't see more than 3 receivers a lot last year.
Well, and be curious to see what the new wide receiver coach, what he thinks about that, because Brian had it pretty tight. It was tough to get on the field here at wide receiver. We'll be interested to see if there is a change in philosophy there. We anticipate Ryan being at the podium here in about 5 minutes from now, so why don't we take a quick time out? On the other side, we anticipate Ryan Day at the podium. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.99% APR, 6.02% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service, so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. Spring has arrived, and it'll be a great time to open your windows. But, oh, wait, your windows don't open easily. They leak when it rains. They've got cracked glass. They need repainting again. Ugh. Getting top-quality custom-fit windows from Window Nation, that's easy and affordable. Right now, during the More You Buy, the More You Save sale, you could save up to 50% off all your windows. Plus, you could get them with 0 interest for 5 years. During uncertain times, one of the best investments you can make is in your home. Experts report that windows retain 80% of their value. With Window Nation, you'll get windows that easily slide open and closed. They are made with top-quality seals so they won't leak when it's rainy or windy. And unlike other windows, they're maintenance-free. They're so good, Window Nation stands behind them with a lifetime warranty. And they're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale. Going on now. Sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com for your consultation.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at The Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news. We fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on The Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Austin Ward here. Fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to make memories than the Columbus Zoo. See tigers up close, watch playful otters, and see the baby elephants in action. For a limited time, take advantage of our Zoo After 2 p.m. deal. Plan your adventure at columbuszoo.org.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The best hair on the air. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. And when you are listening to Bishop and Friends, you are doing so in part because we are sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. Coach Day, we anticipate being at the podium here relatively soon. Bake, you are not optimistic.
Well, I mean, usually they say 11, and we get like 11:20, so 10:45 would tell me right on time at 11.
Austin had the best phrase for it. We're on Ohio State time. And Ohio State time's rarely on time.
I know it. I saw their own feed, though, said 10:45.
I mean, I'm told the offense always needs to be on time and on schedule.
While we wait for Coach Day, you mentioned this in the update at the top of the hour, Reese. The NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament will expand. Nobody wants this. Fans don't want it. There's no conference that wants it, but the television partners want it because it's more content for them, and that's what these are. These are television shows, and so you're going to get a television show that lasts for another week is what's going to happen. The NCAA reportedly will finalize basketball expansion for the men's and women's side of things. A proposal socialized with members last year noted that 8 games would be added to the current first 4 played over Tuesday and Wednesday of the first week of the event. That's a lot. This new opening round would feature 24 teams playing in 12 games over 2 days at 2 sites, Dayton and another, though plenty of this could change through the course of continuing talks with TV partners Warner Brothers Discovery and CBS. So you're going to get what is this now, a 78-team tournament? Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Look, coaches will like it.
They will?
Yeah, sure they will. Of course they will. Now more of them can say we made the tournament. Yeah, all the bubble coaches will like it. You're not going to have a whole lot of discussion about teams making it or not. They're all going to make it now. Every Power 4 team that's over 500 is going to make the tournament.
And that's what I hate about this.
Sucks.
It says that the expansion is almost assured to be good news for teams in power conferences because when the current structure stops benefiting them, it's time to change the structure. I would rather this mean the MAC gets 2. Every year, but that's not the case. We're still going to get, let Auburn have their moment and win the NIT. Good on them, by the way, for playing in that.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah,
come on.
No, you're going to have, we're not, if you don't make the tournament now, if they go to 78 and you're in a Big Ten school, like you're Indiana would make the tournament. Indiana was 9-11 this year. They were 18-14 overall. And they would make the tournament. 4 games over 500. Make the tournament. That's what you're signing up for. Do we need to see more games for them? No, probably not. So those coaches win, and then the television partners win because they want more content. Like this stuff wins. Even the first 4 stuff wins for them in a big way. Every year we have that conversation. Well, where's True TV? Oh, yeah, there it is. That's what this is about. The conferences win because now they can add more money. It's found money is what it is. But you're not going to get a better tournament. Now, the good news is I'm not going to lose my mind over this because the tournament's still going to feel like the tournament. Wake me up when I get to Thursday and you got 64 and I got a bracket.
Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski said, quote, it's a masterpiece already when asked about the NCAA tournament at 68. 76 will be the new number. Dayton and another site for the first 4. Where would they go? West?
Probably do it somewhere. Just
Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, Denver.
Shot to my head, yeah.
Shouldn't they do it? I know it's too close, but shouldn't they do it at Hinkle Fieldhouse? Wouldn't that be perfect?
Amazing. That would be perfect. I think Teresa's thinking going west would make some sense though, just from a travel standpoint, because you play Tuesday, Wednesday. If you play Wednesday, you're playing Friday, so you got to get there. So theoretically, although who's the team that did it this year?
I was just trying to think about that.
Went all the way
from Dayton
to go to
Portland. Yeah.
Was it Texas?
Yes.
They didn't seem to have a problem.
And they won. Yeah, they won. So, yeah, I think you're just going to see this. It's something we all just have to get used to, that whether it's the 2 things that you can count on for revenue producing from an athletic department standpoint, from a conference standpoint, are the men's and women's NCAA tournament and football. And so We have squeezed every drop of juice that we can squeeze from those fruits, and they're still looking for some more. And so, 76, of course. We knew this was inevitable. We know we're going to get to a 16-team college football playoff. That's inevitable, too. Why? Because there's a tremendous thirst for it. Folks want to see it. They want more games, and the television partners want it, too. And this goes back to the conversation about the UFL that we were having last week. They don't need 3 million eyeballs. But if they can get 1,800,000, is that better and more cost-effective than producing 3-hour-long shows to fill Fox's primetime window? Yes. It's much cheaper. Much cheaper. Whatever Warner Brothers Discovery CBS is going to pay for all of this, it pales in comparison to what, and they're going to rate more, pales in comparison of trying to come up with original programming that can fill it.
It also, for the NCAA, kills competition.
Yes.
So you had West Virginia beating Oklahoma in the college basketball crown. Well, now those teams would be in the NCAA tournament. The NIT, you had Baker mentioned Auburn beating Tulsa. Both those games were in overtime. Those 4 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Well, maybe not Tulsa, but those three big schools with massive fan bases, they're going to the NCAA tournament. They're not doing the crown. They're not doing the NIT.
No. Your regular season, which honestly for men's college basketball really doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Speaking of that, are we going to get to a point, because I feel like this is coming at some point with all the greed, where they just put everybody in the NCAA tournament?
At this
just
rate,
make the whole season the tournament? Like take 300 teams and just play them out?
Then you can have a whole month of March.
Yeah, like 6 weeks.
You like March in March? How about March in January?
Can I interest you in March and February?
They'd like that.
Go to 128.
I don't put it past
giant
them.
Bracket. No, they're all scrambling, guys. They're all scrambling. And it's just like any other business where your shareholders say, well, we made this much last year. Well, we need to make more next year. So their answer to we need to make more next year is create more inventory. And that's where that gets to. 24 teams, 12 games on those sites. You're right, Hinkle would be perfect. Pretty centrally located, too. That would be a great place to do it. And from a production standpoint, if you're Warner and CBS, that helps as well. Did I see that Warner, and which owns Turner, and CBS, like they're going to go together for sports production? Did I see that over the weekend?
I thought they already did.
Well, they do. They partner up, but I think they're going to become one, is what I was reading over the weekend, that CBS Sports and Turner Sports are basically just going to become one entity.
Well, I wish they would have done that this past weekend, because Saturday night I couldn't get the Paramount. I couldn't get the NCAA tournament games on Paramount Plus at the Jackets game like I did the week before. I was pretty upset about that. I had to download HBO Max real fast. And
so if it all goes according to plan, then CBS Sports and TNT Sports will merge the third quarter of this year.
Okay. So that's how you get that. And I saw Ernie was doing the Final Four. Mm-hmm. I'm sure this has happened before, but it is still so strange to get used to the fact that the Final Four is not on CBS.
I hated that.
It's like awful. It's just crazy. Like all those years, and it was on the two Turners. Like the boys were like, "Well, what channel's it on?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's on Channel 10. Channel 10. Go to Channel 10." And it wasn't. And then it's like, "Oh, that's right. It's this way." So if you don't have the cable like I do and pay $1,000 a month for all your cable, then you got to go track down the app that has it. And in this instance, it was HBO.
Also, from the less is more department, we don't need 10 guys on the desk.
Sure don't.
No.
What are we doing?
You also
Will Forte, was he like doing like a James Naismith or something?
Yes, he was in a character.
That was so odd. And Magic Johnson's my all-time favorite athlete, but we don't need that either. Like you get Clark's the best.
Just have more Clark.
More Clark. If Chuck and Kenny are good too, and Pearl, fine. But you don't need 66 people up there. Well, Bake, you were right. You were right. I believe you nailed it. 11 o'clock it's going to be. We anticipate Ryan Day coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. no mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
While $500 might not be life-changing, it could be month-changing. Sometimes that little extra cash is all you need to put a boost in your step and your bank account. At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we make it easy. Refi your car loan and get up to $500 cash back the next day. And enjoy 90 days of no payments. Apply at Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Ends April 18th, 2026. Call 800-282-6420 for credit costs and terms. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband. It's my sons. It's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Common Man here for Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Oh, Mikey, did you know something new is coming and it's right around the corner?
What is it?
Now you can stay while you play. It's the all-new Hollywood Casino Columbus Hotel. It's coming June 12th, and we want you to celebrate with us as we open the doors with a can't-miss concert and festival.
And here's something for you this month. It's the Win Your Way drawings on select Wednesdays and Saturdays. You can score $100,000. Plus, coming in May, it's the Hollywood Tribute Concert Series.
Ooh, must be 21 to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2026 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to relaunch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to 10tv.com/raisetheroof. 10tv.com/raisetheroof. Nominate a local hero today and help us raise the roof for those who make a difference.
Working your way through that home projects list, that means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your air conditioner or furnace. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain issues? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing problems? Call the Waterworks. HVAC breakdowns? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
At Bags R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Bags R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued, Bags R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loans and no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the ones you love? With Kroger same-day pickup and delivery, it's easy to shop the same great prices and quality you'd find in store. We'll bring your groceries right to you in our refrigerated trucks, so you can spend time on what matters most. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save $20 on your first Kroger pickup or delivery order of $75 or more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. This update sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Locally inspired dishes and award-winning cocktails. Visit highbankco.com to make your reservation today. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank. Ohio State has wrapped up practice number 9 of the spring. Head coach Ryan Day is expected to speak in moments. We'll carry those comments live on The Fan. The Buckeyes will hold their annual spring game 1 week from Saturday at the Horseshoe. College basketball is going to crown a national champion tonight in Indianapolis. Michigan battles UConn for the title tilt. Tip-off from Lucas Oil's 8:50. Wolverines forward Yaxel Lendenborg is expected to play. He's dealing with injuries to his ankle and knee. The transfer portal opens Tuesday. 4 Buckeyes are going to enter: Devin Royal, Colin White, Gabe Cupps, and Tayson Chapman. The portal's open through Monday, April 20th. The NCAA is also going to expand the tournament for both the men and the women to 76 teams in the coming days. And in baseball Monday, the Guardians host the Royals at 6:10. The Reds will begin a series in Miami against the Marlins at 6:40. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Are we to the point where you just say we anticipate Coach Day at the podium sometime today?
In moments.
Well,
however many moments depend.
Could be a great many. Could be a great many moments. Could be no moments.
Few. I think I remember the original email said around 11 a.m., so we're right on time. We're right on time right now.
It's just silly.
It is, yeah. Because this ain't 10:45. I mean, they put it up on their own thing, so you got to get your timing right, boys. While we're waiting for Coach Day, I did get this a lot. On Friday that President Trump had signed a second executive order aimed at fixing college sports, this time laying out specific transfer eligibility rules, limiting how athletes can be compensated for the time, name, image, and likeness, threatening schools that violate rules with financial penalties. The order mandates such as limiting athletes to one unrestricted transfer as undergraduates and placing a 5-year cap on college eligibility would not take effect until August 1st. Most notably, the order poses the possibility of federal funding being withheld from schools that do not comply with the rules. The order calls for athletes to be permitted to transfer just once as undergraduates, be immediately eligible to play for the new school. A second transfer would require the athletes to give up a year of eligibility without competing. See, you can't do that. As soon as you do that, you got to do that to the coaches. So this ain't worth much, kids. Unfortunately, for people who want some restrictions on this stuff, I don't think much is going to come of this. Graduate students get one additional free transfer once they've obtained a 4-year degree. So this is similar to how it was in the old days. The order would install a new rule giving athletes 5 to play 5 with no exceptions. The order states professional athletes cannot return to college and would also end NIL collectives. I see no scenario where any of this is policeable. I have seen no scenario where any of this holds up in a court of law. In many instances, there are state laws that supersede all of this. I know it's funny. I probably texted this a dozen times on Friday, like, whoa, change is coming. Guys, this is the second time he's done this. This is the second executive order on this. Number 2. None of it's going to hold up. So if you're thinking that it's going to have teeth, think again.
I was reading somewhere in the Athletic article about this that one of the reasons that they did the executive order this way is try to kickstart legislation on everything. So they worded things a certain way that they knew it wouldn't hold up in court because it's already not held up in court, but they were hoping to kickstart the legislation.
We are just think of everything that's going on in the world, right? You got midterms.
Sports should be the last thing.
Right. You got midterms in November, and you're going to rely on them to do something real and timely between now and then when they're all just running for re-election or trying to unseat somebody who's currently seating. I mean, there's nothing's going to get done here.
What it does afford, I believe, is the ability for leaders in the college space to say, well, we're asking the government, we're trying here, we're trying to do something. See us go to Capitol Hill. Look at all this legislation we're trying to get passed, guys. We're doing our best here.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to take any responsibility for this. Nobody wants to be an actual leader. They just want to keep either kicking the can down the road or having someone else try something.
You really need obviously the Big Ten and the SEC are going to run this. If they're not on the same page, then no good is going to come. So those two almost need to form their own entity. And the two of them almost need to hire either a human being or a committee of human beings that look out for the best interest of all of it. Because right now, it's just incredibly selfish. You're just worrying about how things affect you. There's a really good discussion that happened on ESPN's College Game Day basketball set on Saturday. John Calipari was there, Reese Davis was there, Jay Williams, Jay Billis. They had a really cool conversation about all of this, how all of this is happening. And, you know, Cal was talking about, coaching 26-year-olds and guys who are married with children and all of this other stuff. And Jay Billis had a great line to him. He said, just don't recruit them.
You don't have to do that. You do not have to get in business with those people.
No, just don't recruit them. Don't sign them. Like, Billis has the answers to the test on all of this stuff, especially trying to make stuff that holds up in a court of law. And if you listen to what he said, he was on Urban's podcast last week talking about all of this. That's the roadmap here. Like, that's it. Even Jay Williams talked about collectively bargaining. He talked about it in the breakdown that they had. If you want real change, it's got to happen that way.
Why are people not consulting someone like that?
I don't know.
Jay Billis, who played the sport, who analyzes the sport at the highest level, and he's a lawyer.
He's an attorney.
Because they don't want to do what he's going to tell them to do.
No, they don't.
They'll consult. He'll say, you need to be doing these different things. And they're not interested in actually at this point, I'm just thinking they're not interested in actually fixing things because so many of them are benefiting from how insane things are right now.
Bake?
We got Ryan.
Let's go to Coach Day.
All right, guys, we'll start with Darren on the right.
Your quarterback group, there's Devin Sanchez is back for a second year. He had a lot of experience kind of throwing the fire last year. You guys, Cam, Don. What have you seen from that group so far? And I guess specifically with Devin, how different is he now than where he was at this point last year?
Well, anytime you have a year in the program, you're further along in your development, your maturity, on and off the field, understanding of concepts, your skill set, your techniques. I think that's where he is. And he also got some significant playing time last year, so that's good. Gives him a reference point going into the next year. But now he's into a different role. He's fighting for a starting position, and that takes it takes more. And so he has to understand that part of it. You got to bring in every play. Not a freshman anymore, but we've seen good progress there. But in terms of the group in general, it's very competitive, and they know they're all fighting for playing time. So I think when you look from the guys who are returning, Jermaine and Devin and the guys, and then you have the guys who came in through the transfer portal, and then you have the young guys. You got Jay and Jordan, and so all those guys are very, very competitive. So they're all fighting for playing time. The good news is I think we'll have some depth there, but some guys got to step up and be the starter and produce at a high level, and that's what the challenge is. About halfway through the spring.
Don, right? What's the biggest difference you're seeing with Julian Sand from this time a year ago to where you are now, and what's he doing best? What's he need to get better at?
Well, I think the first thing is just command of the whole operation, understanding that he's the guy that's in charge. We're constantly looking for him to run the offense at a high level. And so the expectation is more than it was last year. Everything that he did last year was for the first time. This year we know what he can do, and so he's got to take those next steps. We talked before about just the physicality of standing in the pocket, being able to escape and make plays with his feet when that's appropriate. But he's got to be at his best on third down and in the red zone. And in 2 minutes, we know we're going to have to win games in the fourth quarter looking at our schedule. So we need him to be on his stuff when it comes to that. And when you're young, typically what happens is we try to protect the young quarterback through running the ball, defense, and all that. Well, he's not young anymore, so now he's got to help some of those other guys around him and make everybody on the field better.
Joey up front.
We didn't see Austin or Phil out there at the tackle spots on Saturday. What's their stats, and what do you think Ian and Carter did in there?
Yeah, it was good to see those guys get some reps and kind of get forced into it. And they'll be like that for the rest of spring. Those guys had a small procedure, but they'll be out for the rest of spring. But we'll be back for a full summer. But it's great to see both Ian and Carter have to step up in a big way. And again, it's one thing when you're the second guy or maybe the third for Carter, but now he's getting reps with the one, so he's going against the best guys over on the other side of the ball. So this is a great opportunity for him, and he's got to take it and run. But it's not just the physical part; it's the mental part, being able to do it and then consistently do it over and over again. So I think this happened a couple of years ago. I know it happened a couple of years ago in preseason camp. We had some guys out in the offensive line. Some guys had to step up, and that paid off dividends down the road. So we need those guys to finish with these 2 really good weeks of work, and they'll be right at the point of attack, and so they need to really step up for us, because that not only are they playing for depth, but they're playing for starting positions. So, I mean, everything is on the board, and the more guys we have that can play, the more we're going to put them in a game. And we know it's a long season, as we've talked about before, and playing multiple positions is important with the offensive line, but both of these guys right now are tackles, and then they need to step up in a big way. And Ian's into year 3, and Carter's now into year 2, and so what an opportunity for him the next couple of weeks.
Bill Landis on the side.
Ryan, continuing on the offensive line, I believe you guys have the most continuity in the country in terms of returning snaps from last year, at least in the Power 4. As you assess the sport and understand more and more sort of the roster movement and things, how much value do you place on offensive line continuity, and how does that influence whether or not you wanted to add via the portal this year?
Yeah, I think it's big when you have guys in your program for multiple years, and you know where they're at. Guys really take big jumps in the offensive line. It was just how things slow down, the overall maturity, the understanding of the game, the experience, then just physically just growing into their bodies. It's really the most developmental position, that in tight ends, that in my opinion, we have in college football. So when you see guys really step up and play really well in year 4 and 5, it's typically because of all those things. The number of reps, the accumulation of these games starts to show up. Now, if we think that somebody athletically has tapped out and they can't get any better, that's another conversation. But the guys that we had coming back, we felt like they could continue to get better with these reps. And when you look at across the country, the trend in the last few years is when you have a veteran offensive line, typically, you're able to adjust things quickly, and guys are able to sustain throughout a season. So we're counting on these guys to continue to get better, but also having that experience count.
Stephen, correct.
We haven't asked you much about the special teams. First of all, what have been your impressions of Connor Hawkins through these first few practices, and also where you think the special teams operation is in general heading into this season?
Well, Joey comes back, and so we need that presence there. We think that he gets the ball out quickly. He's solid. He needs to take the next step and continue to get a little bit more hang time and a little bit more, depth in terms of his punting. But he gets it off quick, and brings a veteran presence there. We have 2 guys that we brought in, Dalton and Connor, both older guys, both have been through it before. Dalton older than Connor, but both pros, and how they approach the game. When we get around them, you'll see how very serious they are, and we're trying to put those guys in situations almost every day. Did it again today, where we want to see those guys operate, because the games are going to come down to this, and we need these guys to step up in a big way. So Connor's somebody he's been clutch. We've seen that before when he was at Baylor. So he has experience making game-winning kicks and big kicks. So we know that's going to come up this season. And then when you look at Dalton, I think he's been the long snapper maybe for the last 2 Lou Groza Award, either winners or finalists. He is very consistent, and that's the operation of the snap and the hold is almost as important as the kick itself. So all those things will come into play, and then we'll figure out the kickoff part as we get closer to preseason.
On the right.
Ryan, last week in your press conference, I think you mentioned the word efficiency about 8 times, talking about the offense. But heading into this offseason, I know one of the other words was explosiveness that you were trying to get to. Heading into week 4 here of practice, have you seen the change that you wanted to see out of the offense? How much of that is structural? How much of that is just personnel? What are you seeing that give you confidence that you're getting that?
Well, I think I've seen some of it in the pass game for sure. The run game, not as much. Legion's been out here for a couple of weeks. We're hoping that he can give us some explosive play. Bo and Isaiah both, are out for the spring, and we really need those guys to get to the second level, make some people miss. They did a nice job as freshmen, but they're not freshmen anymore. I wish they were practicing this spring, but that is what it is. So I think we're going to continue to get them to the second level. They have to make people miss or run them over, and that's just the bottom line. And if we do that, we're going to be explosive, because then we're forcing guys to come down in the box, and then we can be explosive throwing the football. I think we do have depth at receiver. I think guys are working on run after the catch more than ever. I think Arthur's doing a really good job of trying to be creative about the formations and the way that we can attack teams. So that's been good. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, in the run game, getting guys to the safeties and second level and making those guys miss and running them over. So, we can certainly come up with creative plays to be, to do that. But really, it comes down to execution at the end of the day. And so we got to make sure that, we're continually trying to get our guys in the right position to be successful. But like, we're getting better at the techniques it takes, because it's usually not like this exotic play that creates a good explosive. We have to be, on schedule so that we can take our shots and be ahead of the chains, as we know. But it isn't always shots that creates the explosive plays. A lot of it is effort in the perimeter and blocking. So transitioning in the run game, and that is another challenge for Cortez and the receivers is, getting to the second level and making those blocks, because that's what turns good plays into great plays. Whether it's in a pass where we can transition and make blocks, or whether we're blocking in the second level in the run game, that's it. Everybody's got to be a part of it. But we're seeing some explosive plays, and that's important. So yeah, the combination of those two things are our focus.
Spencer on the right.
Right, last year, Caden Curry led you guys in sacks. I don't know if anybody would say he's the best pass rusher on the team. He's definitely the most relentless. You know what you have with KJ, but with guys like Zion and Epi and Quay, how do you know that those guys have that to replace what Caden gave you that maybe you can't really describe or work on?
Well, yeah, I would describe him as just a motor. He had a motor, and he understood how to make plays. He's a football player. I remember when he was coming out, and GM for the Colts, Chris Ballard, called me and said, "Man, have you seen this kid?" And he was right. He's a football player, and so yeah, we have to replace that. And it was his motor, but it was also just understanding his hands and everything about it. He was a good special teams player. So yeah, there's a lot of production there that we have to replace. We just go off of what we see in practice. There's good things that are going on. I do think, like, for those guys, they see Ian out there, they see Carter out there. I mean, they should be going after those guys, and it's a good opportunity for Carter and Ian to go against them and figure out where we're at. So every day is a competition. There's a winner and a loser, and they got to go back and get to work. I mean, that's the whole idea of iron sharpens iron, and these guys got to show up. They're all looking to earn spots, because you're exactly right. We need to replace, all the stuff and certainly the production that Caden brought.
Doug in the center.
Ryan, you're talking about the opportunity that Ian and Carter have now. If one or both of those guys really show you something, could Austin and Phil and one of Ian or Carter start for you guys? I mean, could one of those tackles bump inside to the guard spot?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're going to try to find the best five, and Josh Padilla is another one that has been out this spring. So, does he fit in? That's what we're trying to figure out. But yeah, absolutely. Because the good news about Austin is that he has flexibility right there. Yep. So we'll look at it. Josh has flexibility. So we'll try to find the best five, the best we can, and all we can do is just keep practicing every day and evaluate what we have.
Steve on the left.
Yeah, Coach, you're about halfway through spring practice. If you could maybe name one or two guys on each side of the ball that have kind of played their way.
No, you're going to get me in trouble now. My phone, parents, agents. How come you didn't name my kid? Go ahead. What do you got?
Just anybody who surprised you, I guess. Yeah. I don't know what.
On both sides of the ball?
Yeah, one or two guys that have been consistent through 9 days.
Yep. I would say. Well, I don't know, geez, the minute I say this, I'm going to have a terrible practice. But I do think that there's a consistent level right now, and it's not perfect at all. But bringing in Mason Williams and Hunter at tight end, with Nate, they're not perfect at all. But they're grinding at it, and they're working at it. And I think those guys at tight end have shown up, especially in the pass game. Just seeing them make a lot more plays maybe than we've seen in the past. So that has been a bright spot. On defense. Earl really, how do you replace Caleb Downs? You can't, but Earl has been doing a great job of really communicating back there. Jalen McClain has been doing a good job back there. So that's been exciting to watch. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that right now. We'll go from there.
Blake on the right.
Coach, you talked about the blueprint for development that you have here, but also making sure you have the right guys in the program from a culture perspective. What was it about Cortez Hankton that drew you to him? What were those conversations
conversations like?
Well, the first part was our guys knew of Cortez and Jeremiah and Brandon both. I remembered him during the recruiting process. Reached out to a few different coaches, brought Cortez in, allowed him to meet with our wide receivers. Thought the synergy was good there, but other than that, it was his background of playing, coaching at Georgia and LSU. He's been around it. He's recruited at a high level. But when you get around him, you quickly understand he communicates very well. He's very intelligent and connects with his players. So I thought it was really exciting to get him into the program. He wanted to be here. He's got a lot of energy, and again, relates really well with our guys.
Andy on the left.
Wanted to ask about Devin McEwen, guy who really stood out, I think, in the open practice we watched. Lost his black stripe afterward. What's he's been showing since his transfer from UTSA and that step up in competition?
I would say a veteran approach. Somebody who's coming in and prepared every day, but then has to go put it on the field and prove himself. This is a new, and when you come in as a transfer, especially at Ohio State, you have to prove yourself, and that's part of the whole black stripe idea. But and it's good. I mean, I've been getting text messages from players, what do I need to do to get my black stripe off? So it's competitive, but Devin's somebody who was serious during the recruiting process when he was in the portal, told us exactly what he wanted. We told him exactly what this was going to be, and we're seeing a lot of that happen now. I think he's understanding the terminology, how we do things, the speed of practice. Guys have different habits and different programs, but we think that he has a chance to have a really good year for us.
Tony on the left.
Regarding the linebackers, you're going to be the first team probably to ever replace 2 top 10 linebackers. You went to the portal to get older, but it seems like, would you agree that you're building some depth there, and it looks like a pretty deep group, and what have you seen so far?
Yeah, and that's without having Riley out there. So, it is good. And I think when you look at the number of guys we lost on defense, I think we brought this up before, but then when you bring in Christian, you bring in James, you bring in some of these guys, the number of plays actually, we have some experience there, just not at Ohio State, which we all know that's important. But I think Christian and Peyton have both done a good job. TJ is stepping up in a big way. He's going to find himself playing a lot of football this year. He's knocking on the door every day. You're seeing Sincere and Garrett and all those guys. So, and Riley hasn't been able to practice because of his shoulder. So, James is doing a really good job there. We're throwing a lot at them. Matt's still trying to figure out what they do best. I think we're about halfway through spring, so there's now more to evaluate. But, we know that there's a lot of production there that we have to replace.
How long do you think it will take Riley to catch up, or for you guys to catch up with what Riley can do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably need to figure that out. When you're not practicing, it's really hard. It's just that's so frustrating. Same thing with the running backs and some of the other guys. It's just hard to get better if you're not practicing. It's not his fault. So, we'll be in a race this summer to get him ready.
Quick sidebar, was there a review of the final play there, the touchdown from Jeremiah? What was the consensus there?
Yep, there was a review, and under further review, and it was it came from a bunch of different angles. There was a lot of controversy. We actually asked who ultimately made the final decision. We did not get that disclosed to us. So we actually called the office to figure out who makes the decisions on instant replay. We never got anything back, so we were frustrated about that. But the call was overturned. Yeah.
The offense, did they have to run?
So they had to run today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under further review, it was overturned. So, I did not run. No.
You don't run either way?
No, I didn't run. No.
When you look at your wide receiver room, Brock Boyd has stuck out a lot. He lost his black stripe early on. You've seen a lot of great freshman receivers come through here and watch their growth. What is it that he's done in these few weeks of spring that have really jumped out to you?
He's bringing a mature approach. He goes hard every play. He's very smart in how he gets open. He's a good route runner. He understands multiple positions and just plays fast every play. And, just looks very confident in what he does. And I think he's a good example of people who prepare at a high level, can play fast because they're anticipating as opposed to reacting. And he looks very decisive when he's out there, and then just has great natural ability to catch the ball. Very competitive, great mindset, fun to be around, great body language, all the above.
Stephon on the right.
You guys have a couple guys in this transfer class who aren't just one-year guys like Will or Quinshawn were. Like, when you look at this draft and Davison, Will Kasberg, being prospects, just what do you think you guys can prove about the developed here mantra, not necessarily only applying to guys who were recruited and started their careers here. Like, what do you think Davison and Will, Kazmarek could kind of add to what you guys are trying to sell to transfers?
Well, I think when you talk to guys like Davison or Will, Quinshon, guys who have been in the program for a year or two, they can kind of do the talking for you as opposed to a coach. My son's being recruited by, some of these schools, and I go on these visits, and I kind of tell our staff, all coaches sound the same. They say the same thing over and over again. I think the thing that's different about Ohio State is we have the testimony to actually back it up. And we have the statistics to back it up. When you talk about the winning record, you talk about the stability, you talk about the development of what goes on here. We're very proud to say that I think we major in developing the elite athlete and preparing them for what's next, not only on the field but in life, but on the field as well. And, maybe there's another team out there that has both coordinators who are former NFL head coaches. I don't think they do. And that's, a tribute to Ross and our board to be able to go get the best people here and bring them in and pay them because they're pouring into our players. And so when you come into Ohio State, you're going to be surrounded by the best. You're going to be on the biggest stage. You're going to be surrounded by great people and then players with the same mindset. And I think that matters as well. If you want to know where you're going, just look around at who you're hanging with. And if you're trying to keep pace with these guys every day, it's only going to make you better. So guys like Davidson and Will who come in from other programs, they just get a feel for that. And I love asking them, and I think it's always a good question to ask some of the guys who come from different programs, even for you guys. So what's the difference between Ohio State and where you were? It's always good to get that feedback, perspective back. But, we're proud of that and how we set it up, and excited to see where those guys end up here in a couple weeks.
Just to follow up on that real quick, like when you're looking at guys in the portal, I know everything's so you're focused on the 2026 season, but do you look at the opportunities of having someone for multiple years and not just having a one-year transfer? Is that something you have to weigh when you're going through that process?
Yeah, and it kind of depends sometimes on, all right, once this year's over, what does next year look like? And are we able to just bring in a one-year guy? Do we need a two-year guy? And then sometimes, the two-year guys end up leaving after their first year, so you're never quite too sure. But yeah, we're trying to project 2 and 3 years out, which is not easy when you're plugging guys in. And then when there's a hole, it needs to get filled, and that typically is filled in the portal.
Right, true more. Bill.
As you said, there's no replacing Caleb Downs, but you brought in 2 veteran guys, Earl Little you mentioned, and Terry Moore. Earl's obviously made an impact. What is it about him that has stood out to you? And where is Terry? I mean, obviously he had the knee injury last year. Where is he right now?
Yeah, no, having a good start to spring. Both of those guys. I'm really glad that we brought those guys in. And talking about the culture and talking about making sure we have the right guys. Earl was at Bama with those guys, with Caleb and with James and with Quay, and so. He also grew up with Brandon and Jeremiah and those guys in South Florida. They knew of each other and spent a lot of time together. So we knew what we were getting there. His dad is great. Terry, he was with McArary at Duke, so he knew exactly what we were getting there. So that's an important part of all of this, and we knew what type of players they were, and they've been assimilating really quickly, understand the defense. They're smart players, really good in space. So we're excited. We're just getting started, but they're off to a great start.
Jeremiah was definitely out of bounds.
He was that?
Definitely out of bounds, Jeremiah.
Well, okay.
Awesome.
Ryan, when you mentioned the offensive line injuries and then Bo and Isaiah being out, I think Turbo wasn't out there on Saturday, Legend. Has what you envisioned with you and Arthur Smith for the run game been compromised by the injuries in spring? I know that there's still a training camp down the road, but are you behind where you thought you'd be? What has been the real limitation?
Well, just getting those guys the reps of seeing the schemes and things like that. Obviously, the run checks by the quarterbacks, the blocking of the tight ends and the offensive line and the wide receivers. That's all getting done. You just would like to see more guys getting those reps and seeing the cuts and because it's all timing and vision and all those things. So that's the only thing that we're obviously a little frustrated with, but. The rest of the group is still getting the work done, and we're making a lot of progress that way. Just would love to see everyone getting the reps. But, injuries are part of it. We'll get these guys healthy and quickly get them back on the field.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the proposed draft of players, but I think that's still in its formative stage in your thinking. When you're out there watching a practice like Saturday, we got to stand right behind you on occasions. What are you watching? Are you watching James Smith occasionally flash and have a couple of big plays? I mean, where do your eyes go? And And then follow up on that, I mean, James Smith obviously got his black stripe off. Is he ahead of schedule? I mean, obviously, he's from Alabama, et cetera. Just what are your thoughts in those moments?
Well, my first thought is don't say what you want to say right now because there's a lot of people watching. We have students there. We have parents there. We have a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs on these guys. So I'm going to just refrain from saying what's actually on my mind. I'm going to take a deep breath. And so we just got to sort of let the guys play because there's a lot of eyeballs on that day. And what am I looking at? You know, I'm obviously watching the operation. I'm always watching the quarterback. But, you know, just trying to make sure everybody's staying up, making sure that when it's a live period or tackling, you know, that when we transition to a thud period, guys are thudding, making sure that there's nothing going on. Guys are staying away from the quarterback. Just in that moment with all those people there, I'm just trying to make sure that everybody's getting organized and we're getting the practice done correctly, and then get on the film and start doing the rest of it. But I like those type of days. I like those types of environments because, we have to go play. And there's a lot of guys watching them and emotions get high. It gets very, very competitive. And so you get a chance to see also when we're just calling the stuff, who really knows what's going on as opposed to reading a script and having an idea before you walk out there what exactly is going to get called.
And James, is he coming?
Yeah, so James has flashed. I think the biggest thing that Coach Jay is challenging James with is being able to sustain a high level of play for a long period of time, being disciplined in the defense. The plays will come to him, but you can see the talent. You can see how much he loves to play. I'm glad he's a Buckeye.
And those the undefeated nature of Tim May getting the final question that is actually 3 continues to always play. There are a couple of things that jumped out. We will get into those things, get into Thing or Not a Thing coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
The savings are so good at Great Lakes. But have you seen our inventory? With over 1,000 new Hyundais to choose from, there's no need to settle at glakeshyundai.com. Find a new Palisade with the exact options you need, or a new Tucson in that color you have been seeing around town. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with Hyundai Assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile coverage. At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings and selection are so good.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
BMI Federal Credit Union is celebrating their 90th anniversary all year long with monthly sweepstakes. Get in on your chance to win free gas for a year when you lower your car payment with a BMI FCU auto loan. Apply today at bmifcu.org/gas.
You got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, what are we wearing?
Lie detectors. Anytime a lie is detected, we get a little shock.
All right, let's try them. So, Pella was rated by homeowners as the leading window brand here in Columbus.
Nothing? Okay. Well, our windows can change the look of your home. This thing sometimes shocks you when you tell the truth. Ouch. It's okay. I'm having fun.
Get the windows that can change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
This is Lieutenant Governor Jim Tressel. If you're driving
and take a quick glance at your phone, more can happen than you might think. Because taking your eyes off the road for even just a moment means you could miss everything happening around you. Don't let those few seconds take your attention away from what's right in front of you. Phones down, eyes up, Ohio.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, a couple of things jumped out in Coach Day's press conference there. Number one, Sarah Bolden Daniels out the rest of spring. So we're by the way, it feels like we should be further than halfway through spring because this all started like first week of March, but they still have that much more to go just because of spring break and everything else. And so Sarah Bolden Daniels out for the rest of spring. So you're going to find out about some of that depth on the offensive line in a very, very big way. Clearly some frustration in the lack of the ability to get a look that they want in the run game. The injuries at running back, they can't help it, but that's a problem. And then also just some frustration with guys not being able to practice of no fault of their own. He mentioned the two running backs, mentioned Riley Pettijohn. How do you get them up to speed? All of those things. You can, there's just frustration with that. And it doesn't matter what level you're on. If you are someone who is competing for a spot and you get hurt of no fault of your own, you feel the brunt of that. And you do get forgotten a little bit. And it doesn't matter the level. That part's real. So there's some frustration that's mounting there. He did have some high praise for the tight end room. And then also on the defensive side, I love the Hellwagon question, which he puts his feet to the fire a little bit on guys who have flashed with her a little. And Jalen McClain, I thought that was good. And good for Steve for getting it. Because while Coach doesn't want to do it, those are the things that we're looking for, those insights. What jumped out to you guys?
Yeah, it's funny just how Ryan Day is always recruiting and always understands how many people are paying attention to every single word that he says. I did wish that Tim May had continued with that question about the draft because he brought it up and then he said he kind of answered the question that he had, but I would have liked to hear Ryan Day expand on that thought a little bit and kind of where he got that from, or if he in the shower was like, that'd be a great thing. Yeah. And then maybe hashed it out. So those thoughts I'm still interested to hear from. I really like the idea that players are texting him asking about black stripe removal.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a healthy culture thing to where you've got players that aren't just satisfied with going about the daily grind. Like James Smith, the transfers from Alabama, staying on the field after practice. Like they brought in 51 guys, but so many of these portal persons are experienced college football players and understand what it's like to win and understand what it's like to be in programs where you want to be Ohio State, how much work that takes to get to this level. Like if you were going to take the temperature of the program right now, after spring practice number 9, you'd say it's healthy.
Yeah.
This is a healthy boy.
A couple things I took away from this. It's tough to find the top 5 on your offensive line when 3 of those top 5 might be hurt right now with Austin Serveld, Phillip Daniels, and Josh Padilla, who hasn't participated in spring at all. I also thought it was interesting. He said that the offensive line was the most developmental position he thought in football. I kind of figured Coach Day would have thought that was quarterback, and I think most of us think that is quarterback. If you thought the 2 and 3 tight end sets were gone,
with Arthur Smith,
you were sorely mistaken because he talked about the consistency of those 3 tight ends and the 2 transfers, Mason Williams, Hunter Welsing, and then, of course, Nate Roberts, who was already there. And a name that he mentioned on the defensive side of the football, TJ Alford, he said he's going to play a lot of football as a linebacker, so you can bring in transfers to fill holes and whatnot, and I know you are losing Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, but still, if you come to Ohio State and you show out and you earn it, you're going to be on the field playing.
That's a pretty competitive room.
He's also got to take some accountability about the officiating at a spring practice for Student Appreciation Day, where he refused to answer the question if Jeremiah was out of bounds or not.
Well, he's an offensive coach.
Come on.
Can't say what he wants to either.
Why did he go to the Big Ten office and be like, hey, these officials you sent for our Student Appreciation Day practice weren't up to snuff?
Let's hit a very brief thing or not a thing at an odd time on a Monday.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
All right, so the national championship game is tonight. Michigan is a 6.5-point favorite over UConn. Tip-off from Lucas Oil is going to be $850. On Friday, Tommy Lloyd agreed to a new deal with Arizona. It's a 5-year extension. He's one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball. $7.2 million next season. He'll average 7.5 over the life of the deal. CBS Sports reported that Dusty May has let everybody know he'll be staying in Ann Arbor after the national championship game tonight. And then speaking with Jeff Goodman of the Field of 68, Dan Hurley said, quote, I'm the UConn coach until the end, and maybe the NBA someday down the line. But yeah, I'm the UConn coach, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Well, here's the big thing. So in not consecutive years, but in relatively short order, 2 of the absolute blue blood programs in this country on the basketball side of things, jobs have come open. Kentucky came open, and now Carolina came open. And in both instances, the people that they identified first as first choices said no. And in both instances, the folks that they identified as second choices, and for Kentucky, who knows how far they had to get to Mark Pope, said no and no and no. And the reality is people don't want the pressure that comes with those jobs. And you don't need to leave a place like Connecticut to win national championships because they are, quite honestly, the current quintessential blue blood. And the same thing at Michigan for Dusty May, and the same thing for Nate Oates at Alabama. Why would you want to go to Carolina or Kentucky, where every year the entire fan base's expectation is go win the national championship, as delusional as that may be, when you don't have to do that or be held to that standard at Alabama or Michigan? It's just kind of that simple. These jobs used to be jobs people aspired to go to. Now you don't have to. You can just do it at Arizona and probably have a much better quality of life.
For North Carolina, too, to get these coaches to come there, I would think you would have to offer them, you'd have to reset the coaching contract market. You would have to give you'd have to offer like $15 million just to get him to consider, because Danny Hurley's making $8 million right now. I'm guessing he'll probably get a little bump here from UConn. Dusty May's current contract has him at $4.6 million. I'm sure he's getting an extension after this. So if you're North Carolina, you've got to reset the coaching market. And one, do you want to do that? As you mentioned, you're North freaking Carolina. People should be wanting to come to your job. Do you want to do that? 2, do you want to get the whole rest of the college basketball world ticked off at you for resetting the market like that? And I know basketball is always number 1 in North Carolina, but they've been putting a lot of money into their football program too. So who knows if they can do that right now with resetting the coaching market. So you're right. I mean, Danny Hurley, he seems like he's going to be at UConn
he's not leaving
until maybe he wants to go to the NBA. Dusty May's at Michigan as long as he wants. So
the Bulls have lost 7 straight, so Chicago has been eliminated from playoff contention. Billy Donovan, come on down. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, I'm sure he's their first call. Is Billy 60 yet?
I think right on the button.
Yeah, I think he's right there.
If he wanted one last act in college sports, this would be the one to do it. You know, I mean, I think this would be it. So I'm sure that's who they want. The question is, does he want to get into this world of college athletics? But have you guys been to Chapel Hill?
Once.
It's intoxicating, isn't it?
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's a great place. So I could see how it would be something where that would be appealing to him.
It sure seems like Billy Donovan is the route. Here's the problem, though. He's already said that he wants to continue to coach the Bulls through the end of the season. Transfer portal opens Tuesday.
Yeah,
it doesn't line up well.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. If you're trying to put a roster together, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. So, all right, good stuff, Reese. We'll get 3 things on a Monday up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back file in the Credit Karma app.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
The tradition of the Black Stripe began when Urban Meyer took over as head coach in 2012 and has continued with current head coach Ryan Day. Among the first to remove the Black Stripe from his helmet this spring is senior defensive back Earl Little Jr.
Plays fast, plays twitchy, communicates well, did a great job in the weight room with Mick. All of those things you could just see naturally as he went into the spring. You felt like this was going to go well. Then you start to see his play on the field. And, the first time we're tackling and scrimmaging, he's the first guy showing up, making tackles and making plays, and just jumped off the screen right out of the gate. The feedback we're getting from him is he really enjoys the culture, loves the competitiveness. He's been a bright spot.
Little was his second team All-ACC selection last season at Florida State, leading the team with 76 tackles in his second year as a Seminole, following 2 years at Alabama. This report was brought to you by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills. I'm Tyler Danberg on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Buckeye fans, game day just got hotter. Whether you're parked in the shoe lot or grilling at home, it's not a tailgate without Weber Grill's Traveler Grill. Fires fast, folds flat, fits compact, and delivers championship flavor every time. Burgers, brats, steaks, even rival fans agree. Bring the taste of victory wherever you grill. The Weber Traveler Grill. Tailgate tough. Buckeye proud. Weber Grills. Taste the tradition. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Toyota gives you the power of choice with the stylishly affordable Toyota Corolla. Now through May 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Corolla or Corolla Hybrid. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross models. Or lease a new gas-powered Corolla LE for $209 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what have the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, who do you want to win and who do you think wins tonight's national championship game? Your options are, I want UConn to win and UConn's going to win. I want UConn to win, but Michigan's going to win. I want Michigan to win, but UConn's going to win. I want Michigan to win, and then Michigan wins. 64% say they want UConn to win, but think Michigan's going to win. 22% say they want Michigan to win. Michigan's going to win. 12% say they want UConn to win, and UConn's going to win. 0% they want Michigan because nobody wants Michigan to win.
Neither of the Final Four games were great.
No.
I hope we get a great one tonight, and I hope UConn wins it, obviously.
It's contrasting styles, right?
Yeah.
UConn mucks it up, defense, and Michigan scored 90 every game in the tournament.
Yeah. Who do you guys got?
Michigan.
Fake?
I don't think I can bet against Dan Hurley. Those stats speak for themselves.
Well, I definitely like them to cover, and I think the Lendeborg injury we're not making quite enough of a big deal about that. I mean, they were able to get through it, but he was playing like old man basketball when he came back in the second half. So I think that injury's a real one.
By the way, neither of those guys somehow on the injury report.
Sure.
No, which is crazy. That he's not.
Will they have to release another one tonight before the
I think they do, probably an hour before.
Oh, good. So it's 7:50. Fun.
Solo ball.
When does this
is
thing
it
tip?
a boot?
8:50 is the scheduled tip time. So
okay. Well, I can take 8:50. I mean, it's been 9:27, so I'll take an 8:50 if I can get it. I'd rather it be 8 o'clock, but beggars can't be choosers. Time for three things on a Monday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, number one for me, this weekend just affirmed something that I've thought for probably the last 10 or 15 years or so, and that is Ernie Johnson's the best studio host of all time. He's just the best. Nate did a great job. Burleson did a great job with that group. But it's the little things that someone like I spent so much time in television that I notice these things. He is so smart. He is so smart to go to Clark first in the breakdown, because then Clark gets to say what really matters in terms of the basketball, and then you can go to everybody else. Nate would consistently go to Chuck first, and then Chuck would do what Chuck does, and all of a sudden there's no air left in the room for anybody else to say anything. So it's little things like that Ernie does. He's the best point guard studio host, in my opinion, ever.
I'll make this my second thing. It goes to the idea of resistance training, because Ernie Johnson's not had a tougher hosting gig than inside the NBA and trying to maneuver through all of that. So it's like, if you want to be the best host, you've got to go through something like that, because nothing will prepare you better for a hosting job that could go anywhere than having Chuck and Shaq and that cast of characters, and he's done it great. Yeah, there won't be another one.
No, he's so good.
I mentioned earlier, good job out of Auburn for just missing out on the NCAA tournament, but going and playing in the NIT and winning that. So many times in sports now, we feel like the ultimate is it and nothing else matters. The Division III had their national basketball championship this weekend over in Indianapolis, and it was Mary Washington that beat Emory 75-73 on a last-second putback. A guy shot an air ball. One of his players caught the air ball, put it right back in, and they win the game. Mary Washington from Fredericksburg, Virginia, DeKalb, Georgia for Emory. And you can't tell me that the way those kids celebrated and that team celebrated and their fans celebrated, that didn't matter. So sometimes we got to realize that it's cool to play at Ohio Dominican. It's cool to play at a D3 school. It's cool to be a Columbus Aviator. You don't always have to be the best for it to be important and matter.
No, I think that's fair. Number two for me, so Easter Mass, we ended up going to the noon. There was an 8, a 10, and a noon. It was lengthy. But the one thing that jumped out to me, Pastor Lawrence was incredibly aggressive with the holy water. He was dousing people. He had some sort of a broom, like mini broom wicket thing. He would dip it in the holy water, and he would go like this, so everybody could get it, like it's flying out. But I mean, like I was like the second guy off the aisle. I got a shower. I needed a towel.
Like going to a Gallagher show.
Pastor L, right? It was like Pastor L, buddy. Give that thing a shake first. Nobody needs to be soaked.
Just trying to be thorough.
He was.
So we had mentioned during the show a couple times, transfer portal is going to be open tomorrow for the men. Transfer portal is already open for the women. It's a 15-day window for each. What you're getting with Junie Mobley is he isn't going to put his name into the portal. He's testing the NBA waters, but he says he's coming back if the NBA grade doesn't come back to something that he wants. The NCAA's early entry withdrawal deadline for the draft is May 27th. So that's a long way away, but just to kind of give you some, checkpoints on when this Ohio State roster will be finalized. Junie will be back, but you won't hear it officially until May 28th, Memorial Day weekend.
Second thing for me, congratulations to E.J. Liddell. He got his first start in the NBA last night for the Brooklyn Nets. He goes 15 points, 5 rebounds. Also, Bryce Sensabaugh has been really good for Utah. He scores 34 points last night, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, over 60% from 3. I always wonder how the end of the Chris Holtmann era would have went had Ohio State had Malachi Branham stayed for another year and played with Sensabaugh, and Sensabaugh would have stayed for a year or two. If those guys hadn't been one and dones, I wonder how it would have been different.
Yeah, weak drafts, and so they took advantage. You can't blame them. Their stock was rising as the season was going along. Finally, for me, this weather yo-yo is real, man. To go from 82 degrees and a sunburn on Saturday to walking Buddy Garrity this morning in down and stocking caps and gloves, man, I just have no way that people aren't going to get sick. It's crazy.
No, the weather fluctuation, now this would just be my third thing, the fluctuation that happens between warm and extra cold and then extra windy and then also somehow dry, but around a rainstorm, this does it for my sinuses too. So thoughts and prayers with everybody having to push
tornadoes. Tornadoes, hail.
We were talking with Joshua
Lord.
Perry, this has been the wildest 3 to 4 month stretch of weather ever.
Stunning. It is.
Between what we got in January, February, and then March, and now what April has just been in 6 days is wild.
Final thing for me, don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice coming up next. They'll have some reaction to Ryan Day. They'll also talk Bengals draft with Mike Petragula at 12:30 and Ian Fitzsimmons at 2:30.
You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.